Hello, Internet. I'm LeafX, and you're tuned in right now to another episode of the Gamers Roundtable. I'm LeafX, the host of the show here, and I got a couple people joining me already, and some joining me later. So we're going to say hello to them in a second. Before we do that, I'm going to let you guys know what we are. We're gamers talking about games. We go over some gaming news, and we go over some lists that we've decided beforehand. So we'll get to that at the end of it. Before that, we're going to talk about some of the games we've been playing this week. And we also take answers from all the viewers, so feel free to ask us, or answer us questions. Yes, give us answers. This is Jeopardy style. And we'll answer the questions that you guys have for us to the best of our ability. We love taking questions from you guys. And we do this every week at 7 p.m. EDT, so make sure you join in and throw us on in the background and take a listen, or you can watch our pretty faces on screen here if you're joining us on Google Plus or YouTube. But let's say hello to the rest of the cast so you can hear their voices and know who's talking when they're talking. So down at the other line, we always start with Charles. We're going to start with Eric this time. Eric, say hello.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm splendid today.
Splendid. You got the sun in the background and you're inside.
Yeah, actually the sun is kind of out today, surprisingly. It's going to be raining for the next 3 days on the East Coast, so it's
nice, so you can go dancing.
I can dance in the rain. Yeah.
Perfect. Next to him we have Charles. Charles, say hello.
Hello.
How are you doing this wonderful evening?
I'll only introduce myself once today. Brody. I'm doing well. Stuff. Got a TV.
Awesome. I heard you've got a nice new big TV. If you want to show us, if for anybody tuning in, slide over this beautiful TV.
Okay. My laptop still has my default, has the factory default desktop background. So there it is over there.
Beautiful.
39-inch TV. First TV I've purchased for myself.
Looks big in the room, so it works well.
Congratulations, Charles.
And again, I myself am LeafX, host of the show, and make sure you subscribe to Gamers Roundtable on YouTube. It's youtube.com/Gamers Roundtable Show, so you don't miss stuff from us in the future. Yes, Charles.
I'm gonna need to start a counter in the corner of my video that says how many times you've introduced yourself.
Yeah.
I have to drive that point home. It's my filler. Let people know who I am. And later on, we have someone joining us, or at least he says he is, probably within in an hour's time or so, halfway through our show here. His name's Adam. You may recognize him from a couple episodes way back when Gamers Roundtable show started up. I don't even think the cast here knows who he is. I don't think you guys were around.
I have no idea who he is.
No, he was one of the originals, and then he left us, and then you wonderful people joined in. So we'll hopefully have him in later, and we'll see if Manny pops in. I don't know what's going on, but if he does, that'd be nice of him to join us today. But before we get into any of the news, let's tell people what we've been playing this week. What have you been playing, Charles?
I think I played a couple games of League. I've been mostly busy toying around with the new TV to actually be focusing on video games. Also, I've been I'm holding off on starting new games because Manny says something about Video Game Club. So I don't want to start get a head start on people if they're going to be doing something else.
True. That's another thing that the Gamers Roundtable show decided to start off is a video game club, kind of like a book club, where we'll play certain sections of a game. We'll all do it throughout a week, and that next episode we're going to have a section dedicated to discussing what we did in that section of the game and maybe how we did it differently or how we experienced it differently. So we'll be getting into that soon. Hopefully within the next episode we can get that started up. We just have to get everyone on top of things, and maybe we can let other people join in too. I think that'd actually be really fun if we could get the viewers to start playing the games that we're playing along with. And hear some of their experiences with it. But sweet. So I expect to see you playing a lot of League on that new TV then.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just like how far back do I have to sit?
Awesome.
A little bit away from my desk.
Awesome. Eric, what have you been playing this week?
I have been watching a lot of hockey. and cut into my nighttime gaming hours and stuff. But I've been messing around with 2048 on my phone a little bit.
48.
I don't know if you've played that at all.
Yeah. Well, have you played threes at all?
No, that I just downloaded that about 4 hours ago, so I'm gonna give that a shot because 2048 is really pissing me off.
I find 2048 to be the easier version. If you want bigger numbers faster, I find 2048. But again, threes is the original, right? That's the game. 2048 is based off that. They changed a couple things.
Yeah.
And I really have been enjoying threes. I find it a little more fun, a little more tactical, just because of the way things move. The pieces don't move over a million spots at a time. They only move one slot. So I find it a little more tactical, and I've developed a lot of methods. I think I've been sending Story, one of the guys that join us here every once in a while, with my scores recently.
You doing good?
Yeah. Well, to the viewers, if you guys have played threes, what's your highest score? Before my highest score, and I thought it was good, was about 9,000, and that was after he finally got into like 8,000, and then I beat him again. And recently I got up to 21,000 as my score. So we'll
That's good. That's good.
Speaking of 2048, did you guys hear of the version, like the merged version between 2048 and Flappy Bird?
No.
That a developer put together. It's like Flappy Bird, but 2048, kind of.
I don't even understand how that would combine. Can you explain?
Magic. Basically, Flappy Bird. So you go between the obstacles, but you accumulate numbers and attempt to get 2048. And if you don't combine into one, you actually like make a snake trail that you have to manage as well.
Oh, boy.
That sounds absurdly stupid and unreasonable.
It is.
Kind of accomplishment from us in a situation like that. That's just absurd.
Yeah, I know. I love it because it's just I didn't play either of the original ones. It's like I love this parody because some developer put a creative twist on two like clone games.
Is it just on the web, or is it on mobile devices as well?
I don't know if it's on mobile devices. I've only been kind of dicking around with it on the web browser, but
interwebs.
Yeah, just
okay.
Google.
So what's it called for any viewers that want to find it, and me as well, because I want to see how ridiculous this is.
Flappy 48.
Flappy 48.
Nice.
Original title as well.
Yeah, just take whatever you know and put it together, I guess.
All right. Well, I'm definitely gonna have to give that a shot then. That's game of the week. Yeah, and I guess speaking of game of the weeks, for me, my past game of the week, I had to give the Oculus Rift back. I was supposed to bring it back Saturday. I ended up only bringing it back today. But I got Skyrim to finally work with it, but there was a lot of issues with mods trying to install, and it wasn't working the way I was wanting it to work. So that kind of sucked. I got to see it a little bit in 3D, but there was weird shadows and stuff, so it wasn't the best experience. So I think I'm going to end up picking up a dev kit to myself, because I really want to play some more of that, because that was really fun. And I've been trying to practice a lot of Smash, because there's actually an MLG sponsored Smash tournament coming up this Saturday in Toronto. That's run by EMG, and then my tournament are sponsoring it as well, as long as the games change. So I gotta lug 10 GameCubes up to Toronto, along with a laptop, along with like 8 extension cords and power bars and tablets and TV and a bunch of other stuff. So that's gonna be fun. But I'm still no good at Smash compared to some of these guys. It's as much time as I put into it. It's not fair. Now we're gonna look over and just say hello if he wants to say hello. Now Manny has joined in. Hello, Manny. Give how's it going? To your voice.
How's it going?
Morning, Manny.
Good. How are you doing? You got the sun up? It's looking nice. How's the weather?
Yeah. Took a little nap. Just woke up.
Oh,
Nice.
you need to do some jumping jacks. Get that blood flowing.
Yeah,
No,
must-
not at all. What you gotta do is just enjoy the sun and just go like, oh, it was a nice nap. That's what you gotta do.
No, you've got to just like drink 40 Red Bulls. That's
Red-
the only way.
I have no idea what Bull tastes like.
Never had a Red Bull.
Good.
Hey, it's you're not hurting yourself by not trying it.
I've never had a Red Bull, huh?
Maybe, but I have zero clue. Like, if I did, it was like several years ago.
Oh, okay.
To be honest, they don't taste that great.
Yeah.
If you ask me.
They're not good by themselves.
Yeah. Well, besides napping, have you had any time to play any games this week?
What, is everyone else gone? What did I miss?
Yes. We're just talking about what we've been playing this week. We've all been pretty slow on playing games. I guess Eric's been watching hockey, and Charles has been setting up his new TV over there, and I've been playing for the Smash tournament.
I don't know what television has a
I
television.
played a little Super Mario Superstars, the baseball one on GameCube.
Mario Strikers, right?
No, Strikers is it's the
Strikers
baseball.
is soccer.
Super
Yes.
Mario All Stars. Yeah, Strikers is soccer.
All Stars, probably.
Yes, it is All Stars.
You would think the one with Strikers would be about, striking
Okay.
things with a bat.
Yeah, you would think.
It's cricket, obviously.
Eh.
Or volleyball. I don't even know anymore.
Who knows?
No, Super Sluggers or Superstar.
Superstars.
Superstar on the GameCube. Yeah, Super
Yeah.
Sluggers was on the Wii.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, Manny, have you been playing anything?
Oh, I just
interesting?
want to say real quickly. So, I actually don't own a television. Now owns a television.
Yeah, because I didn't own a television. It's not that I didn't want to own a television. It's just that I haven't gotten one yet.
All right. So you're saying, actually, I don't
No,
even
no.
own a TV.
No, I don't take 3 minutes when I order my drink at Starbucks. Like, I'm not that kind of a person.
All right. Fair enough. What have I been playing? Not much. Briefly tried out Gears of War 3. Finally getting around to playing that with somebody. I can't comment too much. I'm still very, very early on. That's pretty much it.
Gears, yeah, I only ended up playing a bit of the first and second. I think I couldn't get too much. You're playing co-op, you said, though. Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should be slow going. I'll start something that's gonna be, we always have I guess I'm one of the person who has a main game that he's doing, the main thing. This is what I'm reading, and then maybe I'll read long form articles on the internet, but those are side stuff. But I'll only ever do really one main thing. So I'm guessing that's a side thing. I don't have anything main going on right now.
Yeah, that's a smart thing to do, and I think I've developed that too. I just, as I said, I used to buy a game every 2 weeks, and I'd have 3 games on the go, but it's best to sometimes just finish a game to the end, that's your main thing. And that's a good tactic to have. Cool. Now, sorry, sound like you're about to say something.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, main game finish. I forgot. Just go on.
All right. Well, I guess we're gonna get on to some new stuff then. I've noticed there's a lot of announcements of game announcements coming up because obviously E3 coming up. So some of the ones along with that we saw today, Pokemon Omega Ruby and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire will be available in November. So I wonder if Nintendo's, obviously this is their cash cow, I wonder if they're going to start doing annual releases for Pokemon, because ever since 2012 that seems to be the trend now.
Well, they have enough Pokemon games to remake, so.
It's kind of strange. Do they need that much remaking?
Well, I mean, if you're gonna port it from what was the Ruby and Sapphire were Game Boy Advance, right?
Yeah.
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 So the people who have the 3DS now can't play Game Boy Advance games, so release the thing.
You say that, but every single time they've done a remake, what they do is it's still 2 generations behind. So they need to, make it for 2 screens. They're going to update the roster. They're going to add new events. They have to, if there's, that's a big difference from just tiny 2D sprites to full 3D models.
I guess, yeah.
Walking around a 3D city,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, it would almost seem like a waste to buy a Game Boy Advance game when you can just make the 3DS game.
I mean, maybe it's just me, and I do love Pokemon. I've played a few of the games, and I've enjoyed them over time. But it almost feels as if it'd be like the same thing as right now we remake Call of Duty World at War or something.
No, it's not a good enough comparison because the jumps between each handheld console generation have been quite significant. I mean, you're going from like a Super Nintendo to something slightly better than a Nintendo 64, like almost to a GameCube level, you know?
Okay, maybe if we jump back to like Call of Duty 2 or something, where it was back on older systems. And
Yeah, but
HD.
there's not enough terrorists in Call of Duty 2.
It
Gotta remain relevant.
It's just I guess I feel for some reason I think it's because the last Pokemon game my brother played was one of the Ruby Sapphire or the Ruby Red or whatever. Sorry.
Do you actually know when those games came out? Because I think they came out a lot longer ago than you thought.
That's what I'm getting at. Is I think I'm kind of losing track of how much time has actually passed since those games.
You know, I don't even think iPhones existed by then. The world's completely changed in terms of handheld gaming.
Yeah, and I think I'm just kind of losing track of.
And you're missing the most important, obvious question here. Will it come with PokeWalker 2.0?
Yes.
I don't know, but I hope so.
But honestly, why would it need to though? I mean, the 3DS has the fucking.
Because the PokeWalker was fun.
Accessories, man.
Yeah,
you can't wear that on your belt. You can wear.
Are you really that shocked, Brody? I mean, after Nintendo posted like a $450 million operating loss, and after they lowered their sales projection.
I think that it's just going to be implemented into the Pokebank.
No, I was just saying, but you shouldn't be surprised about this existing period. After a $450 million loss and lowering their console sale projections and still missing that lower projection, this is exactly the time you fall back on your key franchises to make money when you're hemorrhaging it everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're bleeding out bad.
Well, let's hope that the $100 Zelda game on the horizon.
Yeah, I'll buy that.
It's like people may scoff at them, like, oh, why are they doing this Hyrule Warriors game? Why are they remaking another? Because they need to stay afloat, and the water's coming into the boat, and the only thing they can have to shovel out quick enough is Pokemon and Zeldas.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. And again, I wasn't necessarily surprised. I was just kind of pointing out the fact, yeah, I know we're seeing an annual one, and if it'll keep up, or if it's just kind of a last resort kind of thing.
I saw this whole the re-release of Ruby and Sapphire pretty much exploded across my Facebook feed today. Like them releasing another Pokemon game, people are gonna buy the shit out of that. That's exactly what they need.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, Pokemon's a guaranteed seller, even for the people that say it's the same thing. They all buy it. It's the same story with Call of Duty.
Hey, but Brody, Call of Duty's the same thing every year.
No, that's what I just said. It's the same thing with Call of Duty. It's the same thing with Pokemon.
But you, as someone who actually plays Call of Duty, it's not the same thing every year.
No, but it's I probably won't get this next Pokemon. I played a bit through what was it, X X, and I ended up getting sidetracked with other stuff.
I know a lot of people who bought both X and Y.
They play through both?
Yeah.
Or they just use it for trades?
They're playing through both, but I think the story is pretty much the same. The only thing that's different is your exclusive Pokemons.
Gotcha. The next one is, again, Charles, you like this series, and I think this will be interesting for you. Tales from Borderlands gets their first screenshots and stuff now.
All right, I'll come back.
Yeah. Tales from Borderlands, yeah, it's looking pretty interesting. It's Telltale.
That's Borderlands 1.5, right?
Well, no. It's Telltale is working on the game. The guys that did what's it face?
The Walking Dead, and they're doing
Wolf Among Us.
Yes.
Yes. So it's going to be, I think each one's $4.99 per episode, or get a season pass and you can save a bit. And it's the same idea. Is that it's choice based, and the paths go based off your choice and decisions off the buttons you press. So same thing you're expecting from the Walking Dead series that they had there. And I'll link it to you, but there's it's in the document there, but there's some screenshots you can actually see now. And I think it works perfect with the art style that Borderlands already has. That's fits right along with the Walking Dead art style too, so it's something that Telltale's familiar with. And I might actually end up picking them up. I like that it's an easy $5. I can just throw it at each episode. I don't know if anybody else knows. I didn't see how many episodes they plan on doing for it.
All you have to. It seems like you haven't. All you have to say was new Telltale adventure games, and that's it. That's the template. So like gangbusters for The Walking Dead, and that's Telltale from now on. Just expect that.
Yeah, that's. I guess
5 episodes, $5 each. That's boom, boom, boom.
Telltale's got a new games or episodes. And that's
I'm saying they were doing the old model of adventure games, point-and-click adventure games like Sam & Max for so long, and they finally found the new style that hit, and it hit big, and just expect that from now on. You don't need to dig too hard and speculate what it's going to be. You already know what it's going to be. It's The Wolf Among Us, it's The Walking Dead, but take those characters out and put in... I can predict already what the Game of Thrones Telltale game will be similar to, and what it will be like, and how they will release it, and how much.
So it's each of these series or games now get the Telltale version.
Treatment. Yeah, it's just all you have to say is Telltale treatment, and you know exactly what's coming. That's all you gotta say.
And I guess it's not a bad thing. They're doing good. I know nothing about Walking Dead, never been interested. But the games, like the Telltale ones, looked really good. My friends were loving it. I know a lot of people loved them though. Yeah, so there, Charles, I know you'd probably be interested in that one. And I guess
I take a look at.
There's something else you're interested in.
Oh my God, Transistor is available for pre-purchase.
And I'm assuming you've pre-purchased.
Oh, definitely. I pre-purchased it and the soundtrack.
Because you don't want them to run out of digital files for you to download.
Exactly. Normally, I'm not one for pre-purchasing, but I mean, I've been so excited for this game since it was basically announced. So I might as well just pick it up immediately and then have it download when it's ready.
Yeah, exactly, and that way, launch day, it's there and ready for you to go.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, I knew. I saw that. And I'm like, oh, Charles is going to be happy about that one. That's probably the first thing he's going to say to me when he gets into the.
Yeah, that's the first. That's the first thing on the news pieces list. Brody creates the file for us to, base our episode on, and I've immediately put that in the document.
Yep. The next kind of cool thing is Dust. I keep forgetting the name. I think it's 2014 is the one. Or 514. I always mess up that first number. Dust 514 was originally, for anybody that doesn't know, a PS3 game that tied in with the EVE universe. It's now going to be making its way to the PC as well. So if anybody was interested in that, then you can pick that up. And it's also coming with what they're calling Project Legion, and it's I guess going to be, if I read correctly, their newest update to completely transform what you would expect out of landscapes and the EVE universe. When you land on a planet or whatever, just to make it fit in with that EVE universe. So if there's any EVE people out there that were looking to get it, didn't have a PS3 because you play EVE on your PC, you can now soon, well not now, sorry, in the future, pick it up on PC there. Played it once. Has anybody else here played Dust 514?
Nope.
No, I didn't think so. I played it for a little bit, and it did the generic FPS shooter pretty well. Felt good playing it. It's just I wasn't enthralled in or pulled into the EVE universe that easily. The next piece is just something quick. I know Guerrilla Games is going to be unveiling a new IP that they've been working on for 2 years at E3 for the PS4. So if anybody is a fan of Guerrilla Games, look for that. I'm pretty sure they've been working on an RPG, I think it was. So we'll have to see there. And one that I know Manny will definitely be excited about is Battlefront's going to be shown at E3.
I'm not excited.
You're not excited?
No.
You're a Star Wars guy.
Some rabid Star Wars fan. I'm not some rabid Star Wars fan. I thought the topic was interesting because it was relevant to the fact that just all these big tacos coming, there's this new hype train coming. That the fact that even there are some Star Wars games that I enjoyed, even though I'm not this rabid Star Wars. No, it was a discussion point because of the fact that like everyone in the gaming industry has played some Star Wars game at some point and liked it, even if they don't even like the franchise. And you can't say that for a lot of other franchises. Like you can't say like, oh, everyone's played that one Star Trek game that they love. You know.
All right. Well, Manny will not be excited, but if you
no,
are,
no. I mean, if it's a good game, I'll play it. If it, I never played Battlefront 1 or 2.
Mm.
So.
Well, Battlefield will be at E3 for anybody looking forward to that. The last thing on my bit is ZeniMax and Carmack have a bit of a thing going on. I don't know if anybody saw this. ZeniMax is saying that Carmack and others improperly provided tech to the Oculus. And ZeniMax is now actually seeking damages, I guess.
I'm sure they are.
For taking ideas over. Now, the statement that ZeniMax had said is, in quotes here, is the proprietary technology and know-how Mr. Carmack developed when he was when he was a ZeniMax employee and used by Oculus are owned by ZeniMax.
So basically, anything that he's learned since he took the job at ZeniMax is ZeniMax's proprietary technology? No.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing I wanted to ask is like, what is your guys' opinion on that? Because he learned something. I don't think that.
I think maybe read the statement from the Oculus people themselves before you get our opinion.
Yeah, do you have it on you?
Oh, you don't have that? The bitingly worded like points where they're like, no ZeniMax, fuck you.
Oh, okay. I thought
that's
maybe
the
they had
real
like a
story. You didn't see that?
I thought they had like a full thing. I think I saw that. I thought maybe there was like a
the
full
response is the gem. Is that's what we need to be talking
about. Yeah. So that's that. That apparently. Sorry, I missed where I was on the thing, but yeah, originally I guess Lucky apparently acknowledged that there was stuff that had been taken from ZeniMax. Their ownership and used in the Oculus making. So, what exactly did Lucky say then? And just to, that better than I do, then Manny.
I don't have the statement. This is not something I should paraphrase.
So it was.
Let me see if I could pull it up really quickly.
And my question is like, do you think ZeniMax would have done anything had Facebook not purchased Oculus?
Probably not.
No, this is very directly about the money. They want a cut of that $2 billion paycheck, and there it is. I sent you the story.
All right, perfect. I have to read that in my spare time there.
No. It's like one paragraph. Read it right now.
You couldn't do it for me.
No, I'm still trying to find that news that we missed about like the Nintendo stuff. So please, by all means.
All right. Well, I'm gonna read the quotes out here. Oculus has to say regarding ZeniMax claims, we are disappointed but not surprised by ZeniMax's actions, and we will prove all of its claims are false. In the meantime, we would like to clarify a few points. There is not a line of ZeniMax code or any of its technology in Oculus products. John Carmack did not take any intellectual property from ZeniMax. ZeniMax has misstated the purposes and language of the ZeniMax non-disclosure agreement that Palmer Luckey signed. A key reason that John permanently left ZeniMax was that ZeniMax prevented John from working on VR, stopped investing in VR games across the company. ZeniMax canceled VR support for Doom 3 BFG. ZeniMax did not pursue claims against Oculus for IP or technology. ZeniMax has never contributed any IP or technology to Oculus, and only after the Facebook deal was announced has ZeniMax now made these claims through his lawyers. And despite the fact that the full source code of the Oculus SDK is available online, ZeniMax has never identified any stolen code or technology.
That's as much as an FU from one corporation to another as it gets.
It's just like, you literally have nothing on us. Have fun with this.
Yeah, I mean, it's rare for a company to say, "Come at me."
Yeah, well, exactly. Just,
Well, the company is so like confident that they have not done anything wrong, because they have not done anything wrong. That they
And
can
also
just
having an army of
blatantly
Facebook
state it.
lawyers can give you a pretty big confidence.
I think that's the other thing is, yeah, they got a good lawyer group
Facebook
right now.
General Legal Counsel. That's
They've
what
got-
it says in one of these articles.
Not only are they confident in the fact that they nothing is stolen, but yeah, they got the manpower now behind them and the money.
So,
to
Do you see why I didn't want to paraphrase that? They were very direct. No, man.
No, that makes sense. I guess, yeah, you're right, though. The general consensus is bring it on. And, yeah, that's funny. I'm glad I actually read the full statement there. What I had read before was just that we are disappointed and not surprised about it, and all the claims are false. I didn't see any of those other points before, so that's good to know those. So we'll see. I guess we'll see what ZeniMax does from here on out. They try to go any further.
Do you have anything about the Nintendo losses, posting their Nintendo losses, and how they're hemorrhaging cash or anything? Any of those stories?
No, but if you have that,
Unfortunately. Why did I take a nap? I'd be better prepared for this.
No.
I don't have that right now on me. Just a quick story about Hyrule Warriors is hitting Japan this summer. You know, remember Hyrule Warriors? That's the
Yes.
Dynasty Warriors Zelda game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We should be seeing it at E3. We already covered the Nintendo's E3 plans. EA in general they're going to be live streaming their press conference. That's going to be on June 9th after Microsoft's, like at around 12. They're going to have what did they say? Like 6 unannounced games?
How come nobody?
6. Yeah, 6 they'll be showing.
Go ahead. I'll bring
Oh
it
no,
up.
I was say they have like 6 unannounced games. One of those is going to be I know you're excited for this one. Is the Amy Hennig game from Visceral?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying though. That's
Amy
why I brought up the Star Wars. I wanted to add that Star Wars topic because I know you don't care about Star Wars at all, but I know you love Naughty Dog, and I know you love not just because it's Naughty Dog, but because they produced those Uncharted games, and 2 of the lead writers from Uncharted, including Amy Hennig, who's mostly responsible for the creative direction, and the sort of vision of that character, is making a brand new game with unlimited money from EA, and she brought along one of the co-writers and actors in Uncharted, and she's making a brand new game, and it's gonna even if it's in that Star Wars universe, it's still gonna be an experience like tailor-made for your taste, Brody.
Well, yeah, no, you're entirely right, and I think that's what I need to get me to play a Star Wars game. But
that's the good thing.
I love Amy Hennig.
The funny thing is I've played a lot of Star Wars. For me, the Star Wars has always been like the expanded universe more so than the games, but that's because you get oftentimes with the good ones, you get passionate people who care about making a good game and sort of doing justice to the franchise more than they care about like who did this, what color lightsaber is this, or any of that kind of crap. It's just more like so many people still revere the Battlefront games because of these big open battlefields. You can jump into any weapon and shoot any kind of thing. It's sort of like playing with your action figures live. Okay, now I'm putting them in this. Now I'm flying this. Now I'm dropping bombs here. Boom, boom, boom. It's so much fun. But anyway.
So I remember, I'm pretty sure you touched on it last week. How many Star Wars games are supposed to be at least announced in the next little bit?
I think there's the Battlefront one. I think there's one from Visceral, and I hear there's one from BioWare.
Oh, okay,
and I have zero clue what the one from BioWare is. It could be an RPG, it could be nothing. And then there's the countless mobile stuff that's coming. And then I was just the reason I was thinking about this recently is just because it seems like Disney is gearing up for this new cash cow alongside. It's like, Disney seems like the most unstoppable media empire right now. They have Mickey Mouse, they got Marvel, and all the Avengers money they're raking in, and they have Star Wars. And just I think at a earnings call, was it today or yesterday? The CEO said they're planning on doing 3 more movies in between the sequels.
Yeah. Yes. I'm pretty sure they already announced those. They're going to be offshoots based off specific characters, aren't they?
Yeah, like 3 spin-offs too.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
So imagine that. So there's 6 new movies plus all the comic books and tie-in novels and games from EA and mobile games on iOS and Android that all tie into that.
Yeah, they're gonna make a shitload of money with Kingdom Hearts 3 too.
Oh, could you imagine? It's going to be Marvel characters and Star Wars characters and Disney characters. It's ridiculous. It seems like $4 billion to buy LucasArts was a bargain.
Oh my god, it totally was, dude.
Well, you look at Disney also bought, and I think I mentioned this before, but I am now technically owned by Disney because they bought out Maker Studios, and Maker Studios is one of the biggest networks on YouTube, and they run over RPM, and I'm under N4G TV, which is under RPM, which is under Maker. So they're not only
and that's
just
Disney stopping Brody from talking about it.
Brody, the Disney IT guys came in and stopped you from talking about their business.
You briefly disconnected there.
I know. My internet's like no, but yeah, that was censorship.
Shut everything else down. Close everything else in the background. Turn off your phone, your Android. Stop downloading your new PSN games.
Put on your tinfoil hat.
Yeah, I really hope that wasn't. Well, yeah, I was upset kind of a little bit by that. I think it's mostly because I don't like straight Disney movies, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to be. You're gonna see little LeafX plush dolls at Disney World now.
I don't know, man. Did you like the Avengers?
Oh, those. That's what I'm saying. Those I have. It's the animated ones. I've always been a Pixar guy.
Yeah, but even still, did you like the Avengers?
The Avengers, yes, was good.
Then I don't think you have anything to worry about. I think they understand which ones to leave for kids and which ones to leave fun for the whole family.
True. I just hope they can fix some of the things with Maker because there's a lot of issues with that network. I don't think they'll end up touching it though. But yeah, Disney is a powerhouse. But that's the end of for my news.
I guess that's everything. Microsoft announced when their press conference is, and they said, just like a couple days ago, they said, it's usual time, the Monday before at 9 a.m. Did they say what it's going to be live stream? It's going to be on Spike TV. What else did they say about the Microsoft press conference? If anyone remembers.
I don't. Again, as I said, I've been hardcore working on planning this stuff. Like 5-hour conference call after 5-hour conference call for this MLG tournament coming up. So I've been a little out of the loop on some of the news stuff going on this week.
I guess I could tell you really quick. They announced it yesterday. It is going to have... Okay, there we go. That's it. Nothing much. All right. Lots of speculation, but no real information.
Nothing solidified.
Cool.
And Eric and Charles, then, is there anything else you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, and I'm really disappointed in you for not knowing this, but the NHL 15 trailer was released yesterday.
Oh, yeah, and new details.
Yeah, and it looks like it's going to be the most insane sports game pretty much ever made.
Ever made.
I'm not even exaggerating. The details that they released about the mechanics that they built into like the puck movement and
puck physics.
Yeah, the puck physics are supposed to be like a totally new engine that are just supposed to be crazy, where the puck will roll on its end. It'll take weird hops and bounces. And just the mechanics with that, the ice surface too. The ice will be different in different arenas. How the boards are stiffer in certain stadiums than they are in certain arenas as they are in other ones.
Yeah, authentic arenas. And guess what? The greatest part is they added 6 times more animations for the audience and spectators. So now when you look out, they're not going to be doing the same thing.
They're not just going to be waving the same sign like back and forth. Well, they got Doc Emmerich too, which is fucking awesome.
Yep.
My favorite announcer of all time. And I mean, even stuff down to like the clothes. I remember seeing something about the jersey mechanics, the way that like players like clothes move while they skate, and like there's pileups and like just. I mean, dude, it's like. I remember you saying that, you know, you would wait a couple years in between getting NHL games. Like, this is the year that you need everyone. If you are, you know, a hockey fan, you need to buy this game.
Yeah, and you're right. I think I'm at my cycle of getting a new one. The 2012 was the last one that I picked up.
Yep.
09 to 12, and then 15. I think will have to be the next one there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely going to be worth it, so I'm pumped. So that comes out in September, so I'll dust off the old Xbox One, and
finally, a game.
Yeah. Yep, I'll finally get to use my next-gen system that's dust-covered and hasn't been turned on in 2 months.
Has it actually been that long that you haven't used it?
Yeah, dude. Mm-hmm.
I
was playing Black Flag. I'm like maybe an hour in on Assassin's Creed and just haven't played.
That's unreal because I've gone the opposite. My PS3 is starting to collect dust. I've only used it very rarely now. I've been downloading a lot of games off the PSN. Maybe that's why my internet connection is going.
Right.
Playing Octodad. I got Octodad.
Yeah. Don't download it during the show, man. That's
no, they're actually not going right now. I just have crappy Canadian internet.
Oh, that's the worst kind of internet.
Oh,
It's like covered in maple syrup. That's why it goes so slow.
Hey, don't diss maple syrup. Maple syrup is serious business. We have,
No,
like,
it's
a maple
delicious,
syrup,
man.
like,
You just don't
mafia or
pour it on your
something here.
servers.
Just don't.
Sorry, we can't help it.
Just don't pour it on. Quality advice from Manny. I'm gonna have to send you guys a couple jugs of some good maple syrup there. You guys can pour it on your servers. Get on my level. But I was playing Octodad, and I started it up, and I realized this is a game that I have to do a let's play of.
yeah, it's so good.
When I'm playing games, I don't oftentimes end up laughing out loud.
I know, dude, isn't it? Like, it just makes you like laugh uncontrollably at like certain parts, you know, where just the movements, like, you know, like that he makes when he's like slinging them all over the room.
I ended up trying to pour milk into someone's cup, and I threw the whole box at her face.
Yep.
And it's just these ridiculous moments. I think sometimes it's along the lines of like the surgeon simulators where, you know, you end up not being able to do exactly what you wanted to do, and you get frustrated, but you know it's nobody's fault but your own, so you can't do anything but laugh at yourself. Octodad, I think it was about $15, but it was 100% worth the money. I would have paid even more for it. It is a solid game, and some of the trophies or achievements in there are difficult. You have to do things within a certain amount of time, but you can't because you end up missing the door and hitting the wall when you're trying to get to the next room.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I'm going to end up doing, because the new share function or new share abilities and the share factory on the PlayStation 4 allows you to edit, add transitions, and a bunch of cool stuff now. You can even add commentary over top of it, so you can replay and live commentate something you've already done, just voice or with video. So they've added some really good tools that I can edit my YouTube videos on my PS4 without having to transfer files to the computer, opening up an editing software, and render all that stuff, add stuff, and make it look pretty. It already does it. So there's some pretty cool tools now. And they, something I do need to mention on the PS4, they've made it a lot, like the UI is smoother now. I noticed when I was playing games and I tried to go to the home menu and do stuff, it got laggy. And especially in the share function, it got really laggy. And I was concerned because I'm like, this is the next generation console with 8 gigs of RAM in it. Why is it laggy? but I guess it was just needed to patch it up, and it's gotten a lot better. There's still some improvements, but it's gotten a hell of a lot better. So if there's anybody else experiencing that too, download the newest patch because it's significant and it helps a lot. But I'll be doing a Let's Play of Octodad for sure. Yeah, so I guess that's it for the new stuff.
Oh, we missed like probably the two
Nintendo.
biggest stories.
Nintendo.
Well, more than that though, we missed like one of the major story, but I'll say that for the end. May the 4th, the fake Star Wars holiday. Whoever made that up is probably like the most successful marketing guy to make up a fake holiday. Like the only marketing guy I think who did better than him is probably the guy who invented the BS about at the beers that you have to buy a diamond ring for an engagement. That guy is the best marketing guy, but second best is the one who made a fake Star Wars holiday.
Yeah, and it's amazing because it doesn't fit anywhere better. Because you even look at the next day, it works. It's the Revenge of the 5th. Like,
oh, you're terrible. Go to hell.
It's just
Cinco de Mayo? No?
No.
Return of the 6th?
I guess that works. But it's such a perfect day for it. And
it's only perfect if it's a long weekend.
So I was just wondering, did anyone pick up any cheap games on May the 4th?
Oh my god, I picked up all of the cheap games on May the 4th.
Oh, so you bought that giant Steam bundle with all with the $90 worth of games for $30?
No, yes.
Here's I was supposed to and I forgot, so I'm gonna go buy the games at regular price.
Boo. Yeah, you're not gonna play Republic Commando with us?
I messed up. I will play it, and I will buy it at full price, so that we can do that in our game club. And just to mention, we mentioned it before you came in. We got Eric caught up on what we plan on doing there. So we'll hopefully, maybe, if possible, we can maybe start it up this week. So that'd be fun. I also thought it'd be fun if we could get viewers and our Twitter followers and stuff to join in with us.
Oh yeah, play along and comment, and we sort of go through everything with everybody. Yep.
Yeah, I think it's actually a really fun thing that'll help. And again, as we said, help get through our backlog too. But unfortunately, I'm gonna have to pay full price for these again.
Oh, I know you're gonna have to pay you're gonna have to pay $8 instead of $6. How terrible!
I know. Break the wallet, man. I'm breaking the bank.
All right, I have three quick little hit news stories before we go. So apparently that World of Warcraft movie is actually gonna finish completing filming like in 3 weeks.
Oh, no way!
So that's actually a thing.
I remember hearing it being a kind of a thing.
No, but you hear that all the time. Someone
exactly.
Like, oh, it's this thing, or this is they're gonna make this, and suddenly in 3 weeks it's done.
Big quotes around that thing.
Yeah, but like, how many times have we heard about an Assassin's Creed movie, a Deus Ex movie, a Metal Gear movie? You name it. These rarely happen, but apparently this World of Warcraft, they're gonna finish filming it, and they're gonna spend like maybe a year in post-production, adding in all the special effects. It's actually gonna come out.
Just because I honestly didn't think that was a thing anymore. Do we know who was behind any like the creative writing and stuff? Was it handed off to a third party, or did Blizzard have anything to do with it then?
If I remember, somebody big. I think Duncan Jones was the director.
Yeah. Duncan Jones, yeah.
And they got like a bunch of actors who look the part. Like they got. Have you ever seen the History Channel show Vikings? The Vikings. It's the History Channel's only scripted drama.
Yeah, I've seen a bit of it.
Yeah, they got like a few of those actors. Like I said, I never thought this was actually going to happen, so I didn't keep too much track of it. But, boom, here it is.
Wow, cool. So that we could even see something. Oh, it'll probably be next year that we'll see something. If they're not done shooting until 3 weeks, post production's going to take a bit for something like that.
So maybe like the latest we'll see is like 2016.
Yeah, I'm expecting a later release of. You know, what would be the greatest thing.
They counter-program Star Wars.
Yeah, or I was gonna say if they could release it along maybe like a Warcraft 4 or something.
You wish.
I need more sheep tag. But that's fun. That's finally happened. I honestly, as crappy as a lot of them are, I love going and seeing screen iterations of video games, or like the big screens. I like
typically like wasting your money at the movie theater.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't know. I just kind of like seeing that.
I hope for the best every single time, man. I really do, because I really think that you could do video game conversions to movies. You could do them well. And there's a lot that could be expressed in a movie rather than playing choppy pieces of a video game.
Yeah.
Like the Resident Evil series is a prime example of something that could have been done correctly. And the first two movies I actually semi-enjoyed a little bit, but then it just got retarded.
Yeah, what's good about movies is that it gives the directors and the writers more control, I'd say, over what's happening. They can be tight with timing, they can be tight with specific lighting and all that kind of stuff to really set exactly what they want to get across, which sometimes can get lost, in a free roam section between a cutscene in a game, right? So they have their place and they can be done. It's just usually they're not done well. They're usually given off to third-party companies that aren't familiar with the work, and it's just not the same writers. So it's obviously going to change, and that's a lot of times the issue. So it's good. I think a lot of them are starting to realize that to make a successful video game movie, you have to have at least some of the team that made the game working on the movie. Because as we look at this, there's some people in there. You look at the Last of Us one they're supposed to do. They have Neil Druckmann working on it. I think the companies are starting to learn that if they want to do it right, they got to include some of the development studio that made it in the first place.
Sometimes, but I also think that's if you're trying to do like an adaptation, like you're going to tell the Nathan Drake story. I think sometimes maybe you're better off, like, does a Mass Effect movie have to be about Shepard? It's probably better if it has nothing to do with him, right? Because Shepard's your story.
I guess you're right there too. Is that it depends on what you're trying to get to. Because if you want to make a movie that is just in the universe, doesn't necessarily have any tie-ins with what's already happened, then it's almost better, to throw it off to someone that can just go full out with this universe.
And just sort of give them like, just have like maybe like a universe Bible guy who sits there and goes like, oh, this is what the tech does. This is the playground you have to play in. Create an interesting story.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it can work. I think mostly though what people see is like when I went to see Need for Speed, I expected a Need for Speed movie, and again that's what I got, and I think that's what a lot of people going into gaming-based movies are expecting, right? Is that I'm going into this expecting to see a Nathan Drake story or whatever it is. And I think that's why I remember that Uncharted was supposed to have one, and people got really upset when they started changing his history and like where he came from.
But that just seems such a mistake, because it's not like you're converting a book where the character only ever existed in your imagination. We know what Nathan Drake looks like. We know what he sounds like. We know his mannerisms. We know his quirks. We know everything we know Nathan Drake as well as we know any other actor. So. But
yeah, here the issue though is they actually started changing his background though, and like where he came from.
Well, who cares about that? I don't think you get any actor that would replace Nolan North as Nathan Drake, is what I'm saying. But.
Well, yeah, it's. I think as long as if you're going to do that though, you need to keep true to who the character is. If you're going to do something based on the character, it's like unless you clearly say it's just based off of this and it's not, a full adaptation of what it is.
I don't know. I mean, it's like for me, the character's personality and mannerisms and just everything that's already been established is far more important than whether he was born in Seattle or or Washington. Yeah,
but what if his mannerisms are based off of the fact that he was born in New York?
This isn't an episode of Portlandia, I don't think it matters that much that he's from Portland or Seattle.
But yeah, I get, but I like that they're starting to include at least one or two people from the studio, even just to give an idea, like give the cinemas an idea of what it should be like. But yeah, it's exciting that we're gonna have a Warcraft. I'm gonna go see that, regardless if it's gonna be good or bad.
So in March, Titanfall sold nearly 925,000 copies. So it did pretty well for the Xbox One.
Yep, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I know people were thinking, oh, how much did it actually sell? What did they actually do? And they did, they did it right.
That's pretty good, I guess. Especially what are the Xbox sales at now? They're at about, what was it, 5 or 6 last time I checked.
So like 1 in 5 Xbox owners bought Titanfall. That's not bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And finally, I don't know if you guys remember Neversoft, but Neversoft is done.
Yeah.
They are closing.
How could you not remember Neversoft?
And they're merging with the Infinity Ward, and they will cease to exist as an independent studio.
Christ.
So they're not gone. Like they're not getting. I point out they're not getting rid of the studio.
They are. It's gone, man. It's gone. You're never going to see another game published with the Neversoft name.
I guess per se, but the team is still together.
Depending on who they keep, on who left already, who's ever still there. Sure.
I guess, but yeah, that's fused with Infinity Ward now.
Yeah, the remnants of what Infinity Ward. So.
Yeah, so it's going to be weird never seeing that Neversoft.
Yeah,
I guess what was the last thing Neversoft made though was Guitar Hero, I think in 2010.
Yeah, Pro Skate, one of the Tony Hawk games, maybe.
Was it Ride or Shred?
Might have been. It's probably one of the Tony Hawk games.
And that's why they no longer exist.
There you go. Yeah.
I think we went over how not wonderful that Ride thing was.
Nice.
All right, and so while we're sticking with Activision, we missed like the biggest story over the weekend. House of Cards was announced.
Oh wow! We missed the biggest seller, one of the biggest sellers in the world. Yeah, Call of Duty House of Cards. Kevin Spacey has a big role in the new one.
I heard about that. I didn't know how serious it was.
Yeah, Kevin Spacey is playing one of the main characters, at least in the new Call of Duty. It's going to be called Advanced Warfare. And
they have exoskeletons, hover bikes. Kevin Spacey talking about power and power armor.
If they have Kevin Spacey playing this game in House of Cards, I think the internet implode.
You walked into a room as the president. Mr. President, we have important. Sit down. Let me just finish my match of Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Then he looks at the camera. He smiles.
He looks at the camera, and it's like him, and then like it pans to the game, and it's like the same face.
It's just him on this. I could see that happening.
That game has some of the most awkward Sony product placement I've ever seen. Like, there's like this really important meeting. He sits down. And it's like, is that a PlayStation Vita? I've been meaning to get one of these myself for the car. I hear some good things about the PlayStation Vita. Well, anyway, I hear you want to run for governor. So, it's like the weirdest thing.
Yeah, I did see that, and but the I don't know. I'm as much of a COD person. I'm gonna get it. It's just I can't even deny it. I'm gonna get it.
I remember watching that episode where that product placement was there, and I didn't even find it to be invasive. I didn't even notice it until now.
I didn't find it invasive. I found it awkward.
Oh, exactly. I found it awkward. Yes, because it was so clear. He went, "Is this a PlayStation Vita?" He holds it to the camera and he looks at it. I hear really good things about this. It's only $3.99, isn't it? And I could currently get it at Kmart with a coupon.
It was awkward, yeah, at least.
No, but I like that they sort of they didn't linger on it for too long. They just sort of kept rolling with it and they moved on. But I think there was also the time he was playing. What was it, God of War Ascension on his TV? God of War Ascension.
I've seen some awkward ones. I think the most awkward one, not awkward, but most intrusive one was, I forget, it was one of those like cop shows, or sorry, investigation shows, and it was this guy sitting on the beach, and he had Subway in front of him, and he.
It was Hawaii 5-0.
That's what it was. They come up and he's sitting there eating Subway, and they're like,
Oh yeah, like this
"What you
big
got
like
there?"
spiel about, hey, what are you doing? I'm eating some $5 footlongs from Subway. I'm trying to lose weight. It worked for Jared. So what I got here is the teriyaki chicken. It's very, what did he say? Malo?
Yeah, and he sits there like, I added this to make it my own, and he's like, he ended up having two. It was funny though because he's like,
How many did you order?
two,
I
I'm
ordered
gonna lose
5.
weight.
Very, oh no. Yeah. They're pretty bad. They also had like an episode where like, did you see this artwork? It's a blah blah blah. I don't believe you. Well, Bing it, and then she takes out her Windows
Yeah,
mobile
oh
phone.
yeah.
She opens up Bing, and we watch her type in the thing, and the Bing results pop up. I guess you're right.
What TV series is this?
Hawaii Five-0.
Oh.
They don't even try to hide it. It's blatant, right out there. It's I guess it goes with a lot of the jokes I think of where they try to make the most absurd or try to piss off people if they can. Like I remember seeing someone playing Counter-Strike on the computer with a keyboard. Like they do these things on purpose.
No, not the ads though. The ads are different. People are actually spending money for that. But like Breaking Bad when they were playing Rage as a Lycan game.
Yeah, I think they realize so, and they're trying to make it as absurd as possible to make us accept it.
I don't think with Breaking Bad it was the case because it was a very serious moment, this character moment between these people, and they get into this big fist fight, and they're fighting each other, and they're tossing stuff around, and one of them slams the other into a bookcase, and one of the games falls flat, and you can see the name of the project, and it says Rage, and they're fighting like, how dare you do this to me? And then in the corner, Rage. It was very bizarre.
I guess it added because they were raging.
No, it was like a serious like moment. It just didn't make any. It was, but anyway. So everyone excited for Advanced Warfare?
Here's the thing that I was going to say before is, I'm not a super fan of the sledge. Like they did Modern Warfare 3, I didn't really like it.
No, didn't Treyarch do Modern Warfare 3?
I'm pretty sure it was Sledgehammer.
I thought Sledgehammer only ever just did the map packs.
No, it was Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer. Did Modern Warfare 3.
But how much did they came in just to do some of it, right? Wasn't it like Infinity Ward was the main on that one? And because of the whole Vince and Zampella thing and all the controversy, they had to bring in Sledgehammer to help them finish it.
I'm not sure because I know they also brought in Raven to assist.
I thought they brought in everybody after that disaster.
Yeah, well, they had Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer, I think, was on it. I remember Sledgehammer being one of the first announced for it. And then Treyarch did the Wii version, and then Raven Software assisted in development.
But remember, that was like a very strange case because of the stuff that had just happened. They had to bring everybody on board.
Yeah. So everybody work on it. But yeah, I guess, we'll see. I can't prejudge it, but it looked good. If any of that was in game, like it looks good. And I'm excited to finally see an actual next generation. Like the Ghost on the PS4 is just updated texture packs. It's not a next generation Call of Duty.
Talk about a game that sort of fizzled out. I haven't heard anyone really talking about that ever since. Just
Ghost.
Kind of mediocre and bad.
Ghost is, I would say, probably the worst Call of Duty as of yet. With Black Ops still being the top, but I honestly would like to see them go back to an older, like go back to World War I or something. That would be super awesome.
World War I would not make a very good this kind. You mean World War II or World War I?
One, man. I want to go in the trenches and then run out and just die.
Okay, it's a very short game. Because like trench warfare is 90% you're in a trench, and then someone tells you to go over the trench, and then you die, or you get gassed in the trench, or you get shelled in the trench, or the trench. Because trench.
I like linear gameplay.
No, they don't even. The trenches don't even go to each other. You're walking from side to side, and you can see the enemy, and then you poke your head and you get sniped.
Yeah, maybe it's not such a good idea to do a World War I
Trench warfare is the most. The only thing worse than trench warfare is siege warfare. Or it's just like you sit outside of a city for like 5 years. and hope they run out of food.
That'd be a sleep simulator.
So
yeah, I think again we haven't seen much before, but I think with Kevin Spacey in it, it's going to add an kind of that next level to just professionalism to it. He's an amazing actor, so it's nice to see him in it. He's fucking all over the place right now. But until we see more, obviously, I can't say too much. But I'll give Sledgehammer another shot because I guess you're right, they didn't fully develop it on their own. Modern Warfare 3.
It can't be any worse than Ghosts, right?
Well, hopefully.
And if it is, then all hail Battlefield.
Yeah, for something
if they
like
can
that.
actually get that working.
Yeah, because that would, if they get worse than Ghost, it'll drop below that. That'll push them up for sure. Like that'll be
You
the
think
end
it'll
of it.
kill the franchise?
Not instantly, but that'll be the dropping point for sure.
Can you imagine people just start playing the Star Wars one just because that's the only decent shooter? Everyone just goes there.
Uh-huh.
Oh man. No, I think it's I think COD will eventually have its fall. It'll eventually fall away.
Everything dies. I mean, people are so upset about Nintendo hemorrhaging money and they're in real trouble. And I keep on thinking to myself, well, it's gonna happen eventually. I mean, all the people who made Nintendo what it is are either gonna retire soon or they're gonna die. They're getting old.
They're old.
And is Nintendo even the same company if Miyamoto, Eiji Onuma, everyone who makes your favorite franchise or who draws the art or is the composer, if they're all gone, is it even the same company anymore? Or are you just latching onto its legacy and its name?
Because that's the thing. You're right. Is that it's not like Nintendo's got its separate studios or anything. It's those guys running the company are the ones making the games too. And so you're right that if once they're gone, are those games even going to be Nintendo anymore?
I mean, hopefully they have people underneath them who are learning absolutely everything they can from them, and they're training their replacements. So maybe they can, the company can continue on like it is for a little while. But even then, though, what happens when those guys leave? And what happens when those guys after them leave? Things change. It's everything dies, everybody dies, every company fades into obscurity.
Mm-hmm.
All good things come to an end, yeah. But in the point of COD, I think it's pretty much reached its peak, unless Advanced Warfare.
Hey, and that's totally fine. I mean, there was a while there when it was all about Unreal Tournament and Quake, and that was the pinnacle of first-person shooters, and no one thought it can get any better or it was ever going to change. And then one day it did.
Mm-hmm.
And now the games, we have a much broader audience, and the games are very different from that. And then these will drop off, and then something else that we can't even think of now will replace them, and they'll be even better and more fulfilling experiences than the games before them.
Yeah, and I've thought about that before too. It's what is that next thing that actually comes up and takes over as
that's the thing, though.
You don't
even
know.
know.
No, I know.
When you're...
It could happen to you at any moment.
But Charles is right though. But think about Doom. Did you have any idea that from Doom we would go to super fast arena tournament shooters like Quake from Doom? No one had any clue.
Well, that's because we didn't know that computers were even capable of that.
Yep.
So yeah,
now we have realistic shooters, and we didn't even know that people would play those.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fun to think though, just kind of what could be next. Yeah, you're right. You never know. It could be something that's already
here. It could be Smash Bros. It could be Smash Bros.
It's going to be
Smash
Smash
could be the
Bros.
next one.
And we shouldn't be sad about Nintendo going away because Nintendo rose out of the collapse of the American video game market. If that collapse didn't happen, Nintendo would have been in the perfect place to lay a new foundation for a new generation of consoles.
Yeah.
So as long as Nintendo isn't replaced by King.com and Candy Crush.
Oh my god.
Yeah. that's the next. That's the next King. Is cheap rip-off games.
I don't know. I'm just saying though.
Cheap rip-off games and then sue the company that made it in the first place.
And then who knows? Maybe like indies are the new. It'll be a conglomerate of small indie titles that will be our new Nintendo.
A gigantic indie title conglomeration.
Sure. It'll be like little Binding of Isaacs and Little Meat Boys, and that'll be our new like Mario Nintendo characters.
Hey, it very well could be, and that's what you're saying is cool. Is it could be something that's already here, and it's just gonna
Clearly, there is an indie Illuminati.
An indie Illuminati. That'd be good. Indie Illuminati. I'm gonna
You would never expect
games.
There you go, the Spanish Inquisition bringing games back. I don't know if anyone got that.
Yeah, you never expect it.
I didn't expect a Spanish Inquisition remark.
Reference.
That's so meta, bro.
All right, cool. So we have our most underrated games, right, coming up?
Yeah, games that we appreciated a lot more than other people appreciated. Things that maybe either went under the radar and that we really loved, or games that got a lot of flack that we really enjoyed.
And everyone else is crazy, right? What's
exactly.
wrong?
This is definitely entirely an opinion piece because we could have games, obviously. Well, hopefully, actually, we're hoping that we're going to hate everybody else's list.
Yeah, you can't. This isn't the case where you can argue with somebody and say, "No, man, that's the whole point of this thing is that these are things that are unpopular, but you love it anyway, or was completely ignored and you still love it." So there are no wrong answers here.
Yeah. So whoever has hated the most had the best list here. So we'll start off down with we'll start with Eric. Eric, get your vocal box working up again.
Don't start with me.
Don't start with Eric. We're gonna start with Charles.
Okay, well, I'm sure you'll hate me even more for this one because I don't pay enough attention to what people like and what people don't like. I pay enough attention to know that people like COD games and Modern Warfare games, and I don't quite pay enough attention to figure out what games they don't like. So I've only got one item on the list because it's the only item that I can pretty much definitively think of that people just weren't really that into, and that was Minecraft clones, particularly Terraria. What?
Okay, no, go ahead.
No.
I was gonna say, like, I think people actually pretty like Terraria a lot.
Yeah, I mean, like, of all of the games on my Steam list, it has by far the most playtime. Like,
what about those actual clones, though? You see like Boxcraft and stuff like that are like web-based and multiplayer that
I'm like I don't know, Cube World or something that'll forever alpha or something like that, where the games are like there's literally hundreds of them, and people are like, this is my favorite one because I can do this, or something like that. Like, I don't understand what you're getting at, but good on you. Like, I can do certain things with the ones that I enjoy, and, I mean, it's my cup of tea versus yours, but, like, that's pretty much what I've got, and just, I don't know how popular Torchlight was. The Torchlight series
was popular.
Torchlight's debatable. I guess you can say that, or you could, but it's not even about popular. Maybe just a game that didn't get the attention you feel it deserved. And you could definitely argue that Torchlight was a solid game that a lot of people overlooked because it wasn't
went under the radar. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was what Runic made it.
Yeah.
And they're probably now owned by Perfect World Entertainment or something like that.
Interesting story there is that the two creative leads, the guys who were actually responsible for the action RPGness of it, Travis Baldry and Eric Schaefer, the guy who actually worked on the original Diablo, they both left the company and are off making their own game, their own independent studio now.
Oh, that's great to hear that. What's the studio called?
I don't remember that part, but they left, which is interesting because the whole point of why they were bought by Perfect World Entertainment was because they were going to make an MMO. That was the whole thing from the get-go. They were going to make an MMO. They were going to make Torchlight first, and then they were going to do, because that was taking so long, they were going to make Torchlight 2, and they were going to transition the Torchlight universe into this large little MMO using like Torchlight characters and Torchlight World and Torchlight Engine. They were just building their assets and doing all that stuff. but it went on longer and longer and longer and longer. No MMO, no MMO, no MMO, and I think the guys, the two heads, the guys who were actually like the most responsible for it, decided, this company's not for us anymore. Let's go.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Oh, good. So they were bought by Perfect World Entertainment.
Yes, they were. They are division.
Because I went through to look at the Torchlight store page to get more information on that particular game a little while back, and everything was just slathered with the Perfect World Entertainment logos, like
which makes you wonder what they
slathered with it.
They must be pissed because what did they actually buy? That just I think they're like majority stakeholders, but at the same time, Perfect World is an MMO company.
Yeah.
And now here's a studio with no MMOs, and it doesn't seem like there's going to be one anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to know how messed up that company is after a while? I saw them at E3 quite a few times, and one of the things they're talking about is how they were excited to get Torchlight everywhere. They're gonna be really expansive. They're gonna make sure they got it out to as many platforms as possible to support all their fans on various platforms. And they said this time around we're gonna have a Mac version. So much faster turnaround time than last time. Because last time they were a small studio, it took them like the better part of a year to get the Mac version out, and then maybe do a Linux version after that. It took them so long. And I said, no, this time we got our tech down. We know what we're doing. We're gonna get that Mac version out. No time flat. 2 years later, I'm still waiting.
Cool. So that's everything on your list, Charles, eh?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't have very much because I don't really pay that much attention to what people don't like or what the people aren't interested in, because most people don't talk about.
Do you know what hasn't done well sales-wise?
I don't. The only game that I really cared that much about was Transistor. That literally I spent all of my caring on that one game. And I'm probably going to look like a blind optimist. And if this game turns out to flop, I'm probably going to be like the most disappointed. But yeah, I just don't pay enough attention to that kind of information. I'm sorry.
You're
no fun, man. You're no fun.
Yeah, I am no fun. Yeah, I'm the worst.
Alrighty.
Go ahead and shave me.
Let's
you? No, thank you.
Shame.
Oh, okay.
Shave you.
Let's move on. Just a note too for our viewers there. We're talking about games that are underrated, or games that we loved that went under the radar. Not many people played, didn't get much attention, or other people hated, and we still love for some odd reason.
You know what I think is strange is I think we own a lot of these games, but they're still in our backlog, and we just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking through my list of games, and all the games that would be on this category are in my backlog, like Warhammer 40k Space Marine.
Yeah, I have that. Game. I have that too, and I haven't played through. I've seen somebody play it once. I'm like, hey, this looks like this could be fun.
That was a game that sort of just went under the radar. From what I hear, it's like a solid game that just no one played. Most people, at least I bought it. I gave them some money, right? That counts.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I supported them for their brilliant ideas, but I mean, I haven't played the game. I have no idea how good they are.
I think the important thing is that it was purchased and they saw something from it, right? Even if you haven't played it.
At the very least.
Yeah, so viewers, if you want to put it into the comment section of YouTube or just put it into the questions and let us know what yours were if you have any. But Manny, you've given us one off the list. You want to give us the rest?
Not ready just yet.
All right.
You go first.
All right. If Eric's not ready, we'll skip to mine.
I can throw one out that I was thinking about before.
Yeah, let's mix them around.
And that was okay. One game that I played about 70% of, didn't actually finish, but I thought I never ever heard anybody else talk about it. Was a game called Stuntman Ignition.
Oh, that was a great game. I had the demo for it. I didn't actually play the full game, but I had the demo.
See, that's the problem, though. Sometimes a game demo might be too good, and you get everything you need from the demo that you don't actually go out and buy the game. Is that what happened with Stuntman?
Precisely happened with Stuntman, because I'm like, this is awesome, and I actually played. I think it gave you 2 levels to play on.
And that was enough for you to just
And I played both those levels over and over again to perfect it. It was freaking fun.
So, Eric, why was Stuntman so awesome?
Well, on that note, though, that used to happen a lot to me with remember when you used to get the PlayStation Jam packs?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
There were a lot of times where like I would sit there and just play the jam packs and get a full, day of gaming in with my friends, just playing, 20-minute demos of.
Whenever my cousins came over, we tried to play. There was one. It was a Ratchet, or not a Ratchet. It was a Jack and Daxter. You were able to play it for like 30 minutes or something, and we tried to get as far as we can every time. Each time we would get further because we develop a system. That became its own meta game where we'd see how far we can get in this demo before it cut us off.
And Eric, it's funny that we have this future topic about games I regret playing, and most of the reason why most of those games on that list that I regret playing were in some jam pack at some point, and that's why, like, Colony Wars. I played the Colony Wars demo so much, but I'm like, wait, why didn't I buy that game?
Yeah. No, I feel you. I'm trying to like visually think back to what games I played a lot of on the jam packs, and one sticks out in my head. And I bet Brody doesn't know it, and Charles probably won't either, but you might, Manny. Was a game called Nightmare Creatures.
Yes, it was like, I remember that one. It was like a spin-off of a fighting game series, but it was turning like into survival horror, like Resident Evil.
Yeah, but it was just weird, like the conversion of the two, and I remember being like terrified when I was playing it. But the controls were so brutal, and that was like the first game that I can remember, like thinking back to myself as a kid. You're never like, oh my god, like you don't go that in depth, You're just like, this game sucks, and that's it, Like I remember that was the first game where I was actually like, the controls on this game, like I would go, that I honed in on the controls being terribly awful. And
what was this game called?
It was called Nightmare Creatures for the PlayStation.
Yeah, I remember that game specifically. It was Resident Evil 1 had just come out and it made it big, so there's a new slate of people trying their hand at the survival horror genre. And this one was like a lot more like vampire-y, like they had like vampires and kind of werewolves.
It was vampires and werewolves or something like that, I remember. And like you had a gun and a staff, but like the enemies were insanely difficult to fight and you got killed very easily.
So it's like Dead Souls. Or Dark Souls or whatever.
Yeah, but mixed with like the Resident Evil and a little bit of almost like Streets of Rage kind of like beat 'em up type fighting.
Streets of Rage.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, those jam packs were good for some things, but there were a lot of games that like frustrated you, and you wanted to beat the demos a lot of times too. You wanted to see how far it actually went. But there's other times where I remember playing the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 demo for hours and hours. It was only one level, but if you didn't have Pro Skater 2, that had to suffice. For.
Did you eventually get Pro Skater 2?
I did. Yeah, I did. I did get Pro Skater 2. The last Pro Skater that I think I actually purchased was 4. No, 3. Never owned 4, but I purchased 3. Then it started to get like a little too crazy for me.
That game was always.
I used to have battles, dude, with my friends, like high score battles on Pro Skater, like Pro Skater 2, Pro Skater 3. Holy shit! It was. Those were some intense times.
I remember playing the one on the DS and sharing scores online.
Yeah, I never played Pro Skater on a little on a handheld portable like that.
That was pretty fun.
Was it? It was good?
Yeah, I actually enjoyed the soundtrack, of course, Tony Hawk game. Soundtrack was probably the best thing.
Yeah, they were always pretty killer.
Yeah, that was a solid game. I forget what it was totally called now. Yeah, that was one of the only few Tony Hawks I'd played, but it was really good.
That was a good throwback, though, the Nightmare Creatures. That's definitely a game that doesn't come up very often, and like one I would totally forgotten about if you didn't bring it up right now. So that's a good callback, definitely, to a game that sort of slipped away to the annals of time.
Yes, I will probably come up with a lot of those.
It's kind of
interesting as we're going through this list.
Yeah, that's what I'm good for.
It's interesting to think, though, that there's probably there are so many games like this that so many people have never heard of and will never hear of again, and just will eventually get lost. And it's interesting to pull those back up and be like, oh, holy crap, do you remember that? This is probably something we're never going to come across again. It's just interesting thing.
Mm-hmm.
I have a big list on mine, so I'm going to chip away a couple here. In no particular order, I'm going to start with ones that I've only played a bit of, but I think kind of got overlooked a bit. I think one of them, just because it was Viva Pinata, I think a lot of people looked over it. Viva Pinata, I think it was Paradise.
I don't know about that because I from a certain group of people, or maybe they're just like the few diehards like you. I hear about Viva Pinata all the time, like that Viva Pinata love. Like, oh, I need a new Viva Pinata, and Viva Pinata.
Okay, because it was I went over to a friend's house one night and we were just hanging out and he had it. I'd never heard of it before. I didn't realize it had been, or I did know it was a game, but I didn't know what it was. And we played it. I'm like, this is actually pretty freaking fun.
So you were one of the people who was on that list of who didn't know.
I was one of the ones that overlooked it at first, and
All right.
And then when I played it, I'm like, oh, this is really actually interesting. I only played a little bit, but I think I overlooked it because it was Viva Pinata, and I'm like, oh, it's a kids movie, whatever. And then,
Okay, I can believe you're okay. If that's the angle you're coming from, yeah, totally was missed out on.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that was one of them, and another one which has gotten more attention recently. I think a lot more people started picking it up, but Spec Ops: The Line got severely overlooked, and I don't think anybody can argue that that's a bad game at all. But for the
It's an
amount
okay game, is what I hear. It's an okay game with an interesting idea.
I think it deserved more attention than it got because
I don't know about that because I think there was this big like critical, not critical. I say critical in the way of like critics. Like talking about that game, there were like podcasts where they would bring in the producer and the story director, and they would sit down and discuss it with him. There were like a lot of stuff, like on Polygon, on Giant Bomb, discussing the nature of a game like this and what it means for storytelling. I think you're right. It wasn't a big It wasn't a big like financial success, but I think it was like a critical hit. It was sort of like the Psychonauts of first-person shooters. You know, people who played it saw something unique and interesting in there, but it definitely didn't sell to the Call of Duty crowd.
A success in its own kind of way, then I guess, because it got the word out. But I think my issue is that not a lot of people played it. They may have heard of it.
You know what? I bet you anything more people heard of it and read about it and listened to podcasts about what they were trying to do than actually played it.
Yeah, well, and I think it still deserves a playthrough because again. This is my opinion list. I think it is one of the top games I played because of kind of that shock that it hits you with, and
you know, it's a funny thing though.
Well it accomplished that.
Because so many podcasts like thought the same thing you did. They discussed it like there were like special issues, like the special episode of GameSpy. We brought this guy in, and we're gonna this, and then they'd have other issues like yes. Seriously, like, you know, the way like Polygon wrote like 6 different stories today about Tomodachi life. You know,
Yeah.
opinion pieces about the gay people in Tomodachi life.
Mhm.
I think that same kind of thing was happening with that. But you're probably right though. I mean, how many times does that happen where people like to talk about something more than actually like doing it?
Yeah,
Honestly, that's this entire nation's health industry. We talk about health. We talk about getting healthy. We buy the membership. We never actually go.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened with Spec Ops.
Some good callbacks, man. Some good picks so far.
And I'll hit one more off mine, and then I'll see if you guys have any that you pulled up. But I played a little bit of this, and even myself, I didn't play a lot of it. But Starhawk, which was the successor to Warhawk on the PS3. And
I'll tell you what, I was interested in Starhawk at the time.
Mhm.
When I actually got to play some of it and hear from people who spend more time with it, and they said like, it's mediocre, and Emmett's just your typical angry black guy, like stereotype character. And I heard that, and I heard like I was a little interested, like, oh look, a black protagonist. There aren't a lot of those. Space cowboys, mining. It seems like the multiplayer is fun. Then you hear like, oh, it's just kind of mediocre though, and it's like forgettable, not very good.
Okay,
I drifted away from it.
If you look at it from what the trailer made it seem to be to what it actually was, there is a separation between that. The actual gameplay, I think, and the mechanics were executed great. The fact that, you know, mid-battle, I have this this level that I can change. I can add a turret. I can add a thing to spawn a tank. I can add to this, and it's like the opposite of Battlefield. You know, Battlefield you can destroy the environment, whereas this you could add to it. You could build stuff around you using points that you've acquired, and I think it was executed great because it played like Warhawk, and that was I put countless hours into that, and it was smooth gameplay, fun gameplay, and you could change the battlefield. And I thought that was such a unique thing, and they executed it well.
Like we said, you can't be wrong here because that's the whole thing. Even if it was a critical failure and it got bad reviews, you still thought you liked it anyway. So that's cool,
That's
though.
true. Yeah, that's
cool.
So that's one of them. And then I got a few more, but I'll.
All right, let me throw out a couple that are on my backlog list that are games that if we had been doing our game club, I could probably bring into this conversation. But since I haven't played any of them yet. Okay, so Darksiders 2. I feel like that's a game that just completely just. Hell, Darksiders 1 was a.
Darksiders, yeah.
I'm like halfway through that game, Darksiders 2, and I just stopped caring. But that's mostly because I don't have the motivation to keep playing it. It's not necessarily a bad game. It's the idea is from 3 good games, and they're blended really well. But
yeah, I hear you, man. I mean, even Darksiders 1 had a. I guess that should be on this list, right? Darksiders 1, which is a game which is solid. It's like a God of War meets Zelda, and it's a really fun, interesting game in a cool world. But it just sort of didn't catch any. Maybe it was the art style, or the characters just didn't catch on to a lot of people. So that became one of those what are they called? Dark Horse sleeper hit darlings that you heard about over time. Like, oh, they're making a sequel finally. That game gets the attention it deserves.
Yeah, you know what's funny is you're right. This is one of the ones that looked good, but kind of just went under people's or ended up on their backlog. Because it's on my back. I have Darksiders 1, but I just haven't played it.
I have both, and I've played half of 2 and none of 1.
Oh, see, this is because 1 is legitimately good. 1 is legitimately so. There you go. First one off my list, Darksiders 1, which is a solid game. It's if you like Zelda, but you don't like the same environments. You think it's too kiddie or cartoony, whatever. You have this, and it was interesting. Good voice acting. Mark Hamill's in it, and he sounds very much like an evil Joker.
That's perfect.
Yeah, so like, I guess ethereal evil Joker, but it was seriously a fun, solid game. It's so competently. I guess it doesn't raise to like these magnificent heights, but like it's sort of like solid and competent, like line all the way through. You know, there's no like gigantic peaks of greatness, but it's just like a solid straight B all the way down. But yeah, it was a fun game, and I'm sad that I didn't get to Darksiders 2, which is on my backlog list, as it's very much like that kind of syndrome.
Yeah, but it was definitely a solid game that I saw and I wanted to play. You're right, just kind of went under people's radars or backlogged.
A lot of good puzzle solving in Darksiders 1. I never played 2, but somebody gave it. I mean, I think I still have it sitting here. Somebody gave it to me to play, and I never gave it. But they were raving that it was way better than the first one.
Man, that's like that could be like a second topic. The games that slip into your backlog and never get played.
I have a lot of those. I still have a fucking 2. I have like Bioshock 1 and Bioshock 2 unopened. Sealed.
I'm pretty sure you can skip Bioshock 2, is what I've heard.
Yeah.
I skipped Bioshock 1.
Like, I need to take the plastic off of them, you know? Like, they're just sitting, you know, waiting to be played.
Okay, I guess that reminds me of another one. If you aren't gonna play Bioshock 2, like the most redeeming thing of Bioshock 2 is actually its DLC. It's standalone DLC called Minerva's Den, which is better than all of Bioshock 2. It's 4 hours long. It's this nice compressed little story, and it takes all the mechanics of like that 20-hour way too long rehash of Bioshock 1 and gives you like this interesting little flavor. You go in there, you play it. You're happy, you're satisfied, you walk away. But of course, because so few people bought Bioshock 2 to begin with, and then even fewer people bought the DLC, no one played Minerva's Den. And that's the funny, like Minerva's Den is better than the actual game. So.
Yeah, I wasn't a super fan of the Bioshock series, to be honest.
I have like 3 quick little games on my on the backlog list that disappeared from everyone's attention, or just people missed. Enslaved: Journey to the West.
Enslaved, yeah.
That's
Holy
a game
crap.
that people who played raved about, but not enough people played.
I played the demo of it, and I wanted to buy it, but I think I had like 5 other games I had to buy first.
And then it just disappeared.
Yeah.
All right, so there you go. I think Enslaved is the classic right now of the game on that backlog, or that you meant to play at some point, but you never got around to. Next is Max Payne 3, which is like the first time in a while where Rockstar's had just a straight up failure of a title.
That game sucked. And honestly, I came to that conclusion by playing the game for about 4 minutes in a plane trade. They had it set up on one of the consoles with the TVs in there or whatever, and I hopped on. I legitimately played it for like 3 or 4 minutes, and I was like, wow, this is absolutely horrific.
I don't know. I haven't played it yet.
I did. Yeah, I mean, it was by far a really awful, terrible feeling game.
I don't know. I bet you anything, I'll probably like it a lot more than you did.
I'm sure you will.
But at the same time, it doesn't change the fact that that's like Rockstar's. I looked recently on Wikipedia for like the top 10, top 20 most expensive games ever made, and Max Payne 3 is in that top 10. It's in the top of that 10 list, and you know it didn't make that money back, not even close.
Huh.
Yeah, it just for some reason, not a lot of people talked about it. It doesn't seem to have sold very well. Like, a good indicator of how well a game is doing is how quickly it drops to like $20 or less on Amazon. And even like 3 years later, you can still buy a brand new like sealed copy from Amazon themselves, not a third-party seller, for like $8. That means that game did poorly as hell.
Yeah.
If you can get a still brand new sealed copy for like $8 from Amazon. Usually at this point, like this many years later, you have to buy it from a third party, or it'd be like part of a platinum edition. But no, just the original game, $8 from Amazon. That game did bad, and I don't even think that many people actually gave it a chance or played it for some reason.
Well, they probably heard how bad it was.
I didn't hear it was bad. I heard it was okay, or okay to good. So.
You heard that it was competent?
Competent, but you know, in the world of AAA games, competent isn't good enough, right?
It's not cutting it.
And while we're on Rockstar, I think LA Noire didn't get the attention it deserved because.
I don't know.
Oh, go ahead.
I know. Again, maybe it's that thing where I have people that like those kind of games. I have quite a few people that actually played it. I picked it up myself, and I'm not even interested in that kind of game, and I picked it up and played a bit of it. I didn't finish it, but-
What's that kind of game, though? That's the point I'm getting to. What's that kind of game?
Closer to point-and-click adventures.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point, though. People thought they were going to get GTA, the next GTA set in like 1950s, but they didn't. They got a Telltale adventure game instead.
Yeah.
And I think that turned off a lot of people, and then they heard from other people, and then just either people started playing it, like they may have bought it and started playing it but then stopped, or just heard from their friends that, oh, it's just a point-and-click game, and you interview people, who cares, and then they didn't buy it.
I remember watching a lot, actually, of the like the lead-ups to and the PR before, you know, how they did all the facial construction and that, and then ended up, like not picking it up till about a year later after it came out. But
that's what I heard from a lot of people, is that it was a game you read about because you were amazed by the facial technology and the stuff that maybe you looked on YouTube and like, oh, that looks really cool. But then as far as actually playing like this 80-hour adventure game
or something like that,
no one actually did it.
Yeah.
So that's one of those, either it's in your backlog or you just like, oh, it's an adventure game. Nah.
Yeah, not so much.
Oh, I have to point and click. Somebody's already done this before. I can find this on YouTube.
Okay, and finally, my last one of these classic backlog games is Valkyria Chronicles.
Valkyria, yeah. I've heard a lot about it, but I don't really know what it's about.
Oh, you talk to anyone who talks about like, oh, what are some of the best like strategy games or tactical games or RPGs on PlayStation 3, and someone will always say Valkyria Chronicles, but of course no one's really Played it.
And then nobody notices, or they immediately post their topic. It's just like, this is more important. Everyone pay attention to me. And then nobody knows what.
You guys remember this? It was like the watercolor, cel-shaded, fake World War II game where you controlled a squad of people in a tank, and you had like free movement over your tactics, and you could duck behind things, and you could get headshots and pull out, like sort of like third-person shooter hybrid tactical RPG.
So something like Dawn of War.
No. It's a third person. Think more like a little bit of Gears of War mixed in with Final Fantasy Tactics. But that's like one of the classic, like, oh, Valkyria Chronicles. Nobody played it.
Yeah, no, I've heard.
You guys don't even remember it at this point, do you?
No, because again.
What console /
PlayStation 3. It was like a PlayStation 3 exclusive, and it was like a big deal before it came out.
Is it too long?
Yeah, I remember hearing a lot about it, but that was the end of it. As I heard, and then that was it.
Yeah. The sad thing is, I know it's a good game. I bought it, never played it. So,
Backlogged.
All right, back to you, Brody, then. Or unless Eric, you thought of some more.
I wrote down. What else did I write down? Let's see here.
Nothing. All right. Well, I'll throw a couple out while you think then. The next one's that I was thinking, if I could find it, I lost it here. But one of the ones is actually developed by a studio that's about 45 minutes away from me, based out of London, Ontario. Digital Extremes. They worked on BioShock. They made Warframe. One of the games that I think one of the first games they fully worked on was Dark Sector. And
the first next-gen game of the 360 generation?
Yeah. Well, it was on PlayStation as well.
No, I know, but like the 360 PS3 generation, it was the first next-gen game they showed.
Yeah, and Dark Sector was made by the studio. I think I had a little more heart for it just because it was a studio that was local, but it was I had a lot of fun with Dark Sector, but I don't know a single other person that played it or even knows what it is.
I mean, it's the glaive game. The guy with like the glaive that shoots out of his head.
Yeah, have you played it?
No.
That's what I saying. I think I'm the only person that's played it, and I had a lot of fun with it. Like again, it's not anything super special. You could tell it was a team that's used to working secondary on games.
You also got to remember, it was like the first like next gen at the time game announced. So you got to, and it came out very early in the life cycle of the PS3 and the 360. So you got to cut it a little bit of slack.
Well, and I think that's why what helps is that local bias, that it helped me be more open to it. But it was fun. I'm not saying bad things about it. I'm saying it was fun. It wasn't one of the best games I've ever played, but I had a lot of fun with it, and I know nobody else that played it. And I honestly recommend at least a playthrough of it if you can find it cheap somewhere. I'm sure you can. But it deserves a playthrough, I think, because it was a cover-based system that was done really well back before I played a lot of cover-based system. Like after that, I think Uncharted was the only other cover-based game I played.
I know there's no wrong answers, but I will have to disagree with on one small point. Is that I don't know if I could recommend someone like go out of their way to pick it up because it is really old and is really early cover-based shooter. Like this is before Gears of War 1 came out.
Yeah.
So I think it might be hard for certain people to go back to it.
I think it's also, well, that's the thing, is it was one of the first of those a bunch of cover-based games out, and it was one of the first doing that in the next gen. And I think it nailed it pretty well. And the combat was really fun. Throwing that glaive around felt really sweet. Like it was solid. And the environments were one of my favorite things too.
If you can find it for like, how much should I go out of my way and buy like a used copy for like $30 or $40?
Yeah, I don't even know if it'd be that much at this point.
Maybe it's on Steam for like $5.
Yeah, I was thinking like probably 10 to 15 if you're gonna go out. Like again, these are lists that it's gonna be hard to convince anyone to go out and buy it because supposedly games nobody else is gonna like.
Oh, some of these are legitimately good though. Like
no,
Darksiders 1, legitimately good.
Yeah, no, that's true. But I don't know. I had a lot of fun. I liked the environment. Voice acting was solid too. It was all around. It was a solid game. But definitely got overlooked.
All right. Let me knock off a few off my list.
All right.
I don't remember if this one did as well, but in my mind, I just don't remember that many people talking about. But maybe I'm wrong, dead wrong. But Bully from Rockstar.
I heard a lot of good things about
All
Bully,
right, all
but
right.
I don't know.
So
a single person
everyone, Bully
that
hit
played it.
big.
Yeah, I thought Bully was pretty good.
All right, never mind then. Strike it off the list.
Manny, I have to rewind for a second. One of my friends who's watching says you have to play Valkyria Chronicles.
See, there you go. There's always one guy in the audience. You haven't played Valkyria Chronicles?
Gosh.
There you go. Fair enough.
So
Okay, in that case, let me do. Here's a classic one, Syndicate.
Syndicate. That was I remember seeing something about that, and I wanted to play it.
The EA first-person shooter that came back. It was a remake of a tactical game, and people were angry because it was a first-person shooter now.
I saw a trailer for it. I like to browse trailers on the PS3 when I was bored, and I saw a trailer for it. I'm like, this looks pretty freaking sweet.
Yeah, Rosario Dawson was in it, and the guy, what's his name? I forget his name.
I don't
He's
know.
in there too.
But the thing is, I remember when it came out, I heard it was pretty generic.
No, it was fine.
That was.
I don't know.
fine.
You say generic, but how many cyberpunk games are there, especially at that time?
Yeah.
So you say generic, like if you maybe it wasn't that generic though. You were hacking people's brains.
I think I think what I heard was when it came to like gunplay and stuff like that, it didn't feel.
No,
That was
no,
like
no, that's
you
not true.
guys liked Call of Juarez, the second one, right?
That's actually one of the ones on my list here.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Were you gonna compare that to Syndicate?
Sorry?
Oh, that's generic. Are you gonna compare that to Syndicate?
I wouldn't compare those at
Oh
all.
no.
But I'll
I
just say
was-
this real quick then about Syndicate. Then it was. What I liked about it was they captured the cyberpunk feel of the world pretty well. I liked the hacking mechanics. I think the biggest problem with Syndicate though was that they about midway through the game they take away all your hacking powers and it just becomes a boring first-person shooter at that point. Because where the game excelled was the crazy tech and the seeing through walls or bending bullets around corners. Or like someone throwing a grenade at you and hacking the grenade so it won't explode, and they take that away from you, and then you have to build it back up. So I felt like the only time you were ever like a cyber powered like mental warrior was like a very small portion at the beginning and a very small portion at the end. I think there was like a missed opportunity. But the reason why that game really was awesome because they had a 4-player co-op mode where you're going on Syndicate missions with 3 other players, and then it felt like the actual old Syndicate. So it was like you and 3 other guys, and you'd go on these missions, and you would be hacking each other to heal them. Someone would be throwing up shields. You'd have one guy with like the big heavy weapons, and you'd support him, or maybe lay down some ammo. Or like, well, one guy's hacking the doors, you can get in, so you can steal the intel. The other 2 guys are like knocking out drones from the sky or keeping everyone's at bay. Like that game really shined in the multiplayer, and it's a shame there weren't enough people online to play the multiplayer. But so yeah, Syndicate was an awesome, fun cyberpunk adventure that a lot of people overlooked. And Brody, even if you thought the shooting was boring, I guarantee you, if you would have played the co-op mode.
No, here's the thing: I didn't play it, and that's why I'm saying maybe I misread something, or I'm paraphrasing because it was a while ago. But maybe I heard them talking about that middle section that you're talking about.
Yeah, the middle section was a disappointment.
And
but
that could be what I paraphrased.
EA was like, they spent a lot of money on that. They got seriously, they got Rosario Dawson. They got do you know who the guy who does Chancellor Vasari's voice in Killzone?
Yeah, I don't know his name, but I don't know.
I know he's like a big actor. I forget his name though. Oh, it's gonna drive me crazy.
But yeah, I remember. You're right though that I remember this supposedly being a big budget thing, and then.
Oh yeah, they got a Skrillex to do the theme song.
I remember that because that was during all the dubstep trailers that video games seemed to go with.
It seems like there's only like 2 people that liked that game. It was like most people thought it was mediocre. Like there's a lot of 60s and 70s on that review, and there's a handful of people where it hit right, and like that was like Giant Bomb from like Giant Bomb. Jeff Gertzman, he loved that game. He gave it like 100 perfect score. He's probably like the only person to give a game 5 stars. And there was a handful of people at IGN who liked it. It was like, it was a weird game. It hit with a very small group of people, but if it hit with you, you're like, oh, that was a fun cyberpunk adventure. for everyone else, it's like, oh, it's just a mediocre shooter. Who cares?
Yeah.
So, I think this is the definition. Oh, Brian Cox. That's the actor.
There we
Cox.
go. Yeah.
So, I think that's, like I said, this is the definition of one of those.
Yeah. No, I was about to say this is nailing it on the head. What we're talking about, the fact that
if you like Cyberpunk, and you like co-op games, and you like inventing like a really dumb name for your corporation, like mine was called like Data Sync or something, or Dyne Sync, and we had a little corporation. People come to my corporation, we'd go on missions. It was really dumb, but it was fun.
It sounds fun though, like as dumb as it could be. It sounds it's cute.
All right, next up, I'm sure you doesn't want to hear that they're $20 million. Oh, that's cute, EA. Nice effort. Nice effort. Do you want to switch off? Do you have one? And then we'll go back.
I was just saying, he touched on Call of Juarez there. Eric, is that one of the ones you're bringing up there then?
Yeah, I was gonna, because like the first Call of Juarez was like I think like who was it? GameSpot. So, I mean, you know, back when the magazines were still being pushed around a lot. Game Informer. I don't know. That game got like a 2 out of like a possible.
Oh, it's got crappy reviews, especially the second one.
Yeah. Oh, see, now that was the thing, and that's what I was going to ask you. Was the second one, because I played the first one, and again, like I gave it maybe, you know, about 45 minutes, an hour worth of gameplay, where I didn't really start in the beginning. I picked off on a friend's save spot, but yeah, it was awful. And then I read the reviews, and I saw that it was just, you know, atrocious. You know, everybody hated it. And then I remember seeing that the second one that they came out with, like, where the programmers actually like called themselves out and said, "Listen, we fixed everything that you guys bitched about in the first one, and this game is going to be fantastic. You guys are really going to enjoy it." And I never played it, and that was going to be my question to you: was what happened with that second game? Was it what they said, or no?
Yeah, so that's the thing is, I played the first one and I loved it. And actually, there's a really popular video, I'm sure a lot of you guys know, called Ladder Goat, where Dopefish is playing the game and a goat climbs up the ladder at one point. I played through that game and I loved it. I thought it was solid, and you know, just moving around, the animations felt great with the camera, and I loved using the rope. But the second one came out, and I remember rushing to get it. I think I was the only one that bought it at that store, and I only ended up playing it for about an hour and a half. And I actually have it on the shelf behind me, and it's in my backlog. I do want to finish it because I remember the first one being like loving it, as bad of ratings that it got. But I remember, so the second one is called The Cartel, and it got even worse reviews from what I saw. Unless that was just early reviews. But I enjoyed what I started playing. It's just that was back in the time I was playing 5 games at once. Yeah, this is one of those games where if someone were to tell me that Call of Juarez is a bad game, I wouldn't be shocked, because I've heard that from every single person that's ever played it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm surprised. Like, did you like the first one?
Me? No, I just said it was awful. I thought it was terrible.
Like, that's what I'm saying. I think I'm the only person that liked Call of Juarez Bound in Blood, besides Dopefish, because he had a holler. Have you guys not seen the Dopefish video?
No.
Charles? No? Okay, I'm showing it to you guys after. You're gonna love it. But I freaking loved that game, and I thought it was solid. You know, the gunplay was great. I loved using the lasso, if I can say it right. And I thought it was a solid game. And if you guys go play it, from what I've heard, you're not gonna like it. But I recommend playing it because I really loved it. So I think that is like my ultimate game that nobody else liked that I really appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I'll just finish off some of mine then before we get to yours, and then finish her off.
Oh, no, I don't want to talk in a big, long thing, so let me go back.
Okay.
You guys remember The Darkness 2? This is one of the ones I forgot from my backlog list.
I was debating putting that on mine as well too.
The Darkness 1 or The Darkness 2?
2. I have, or sorry, the first one.
I think they both belong. They could easily go on this list.
Yeah. But I remember playing the first one. My friend lent it to me. I played the demo for it, and I enjoyed it, and then my friend lent it to me, and I think I got about halfway through it before I ended up jumping to another game. Again, that was back when I had this that issue of jumping games. And I thought it was well done. It did its own thing. Being able to jump out of body and go into the little snake thing to go through vents and stuff, to spawn, be able to spawn your little minions and stuff.
I think The Darkness 1 did really well because it was in a empty spot on the PlayStation 3's life cycle. But The Darkness 2 sort of came out and was quickly forgotten, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, huge. But I remember they made a lot of the stuff better. Added more your Conjuring stuff. Did you played the second one then? Did you?
No, that was one of my backlog games I forgot.
Yeah, no, the first one's great, and I wouldn't mind playing the second one. But yeah, I think you're right. One of the reasons it succeeded was because it was in this kind of lull. So you're like, oh well, let's pick it up and see what it is. And I thought it was fun. The dual pistols shooting felt solid, but the second one never just pulled me in enough to want to pick it up.
All right, so I'm going to name a few games really quickly and go down this list and tell me if they were big hits or not big hits, and the ones that weren't, or the ones that were bad, poorly reviewed or not, and then whichever one you tell me is bad, I'll discuss. Otherwise, I'll move on.
Yeah.
Paper Mario. I don't have any concept of Paper Mario. Was it because I bought it? I played it so long after it came out. Was that a big hit at the time?
Paper Mario was huge.
Okay, off the
list. At least in this area.
All right, off the list. Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon.
I've heard only good things about it.
Yeah,
only good things.
All right. But did a lot of people actually get the chance to play it? Because it is a standalone game.
No.
I'd say half of my friends that wanted to play it played it.
All right, fine. That's fair. If you haven't played it, Far Cry 3 is the 80s personified. So check it out. Next up is, this one for sure is on the list. This one was such a failure they released it twice. And still no one played it. Dead Space Extraction.
I played it.
Yeah, did you like it?
Wait. That was the one with the Wiimote and the Move, right?
Yeah, this was the light gun game.
Yeah, it was a rail shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty well done. I had no experience with rail shooters before though, so that was my first real experience with a rail shooter, and I didn't know what to expect going in.
I think the bigger problem when this first came out was that it was on the Wii, and at that time no one was playing mature M-rated games on the Wii at that time.
Oh yeah, that's because Dead Space wasn't on the Wii, was it?
No. Just this was the Wii game that EA released.
Yeah, and
I think this is the game that proved to EA that maybe we shouldn't be taking the Wii very seriously.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's I remember it coming up for the Move, and I used it on the Move.
That's the sad thing, though. It sold so poorly on the Wii that at some point they moved it over to the PlayStation 3, and it was a pack-in. If you bought Dead Space 2, limited edition, or you pre-ordered it, you got Dead Space Extraction for free.
That's why I got it. Because, well, I think I'm going to have to do it to EA again, but I thought it was a cute little game.
It's the sad thing, though, is that that game was really good game in its own right, and it had a better. That game, Dead Space Extraction, is better than Dead Space 3, hands down. A better, tighter experience with a better story, more interesting characters, more actual dire consequences for what's happening, more variety, level variety, and more. It was a better, tighter experience, and the sad thing is, not as many people played it. Period.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, and I'm not going to go back and play it again, but it was worth my time. I finished it right through, and there were points where I actually felt anxious to get this done, but it was a solid.
The funny thing is, you complain that it's a light shooter, but they captured the essence of Dead Space so perfectly, because like even if you had full motion control, like what do you spend most of your time in Dead Space doing? Walk, walk, walk,
And then stop. And then aim.
dismember, 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 pick up stuff, move on. Stop. Dismember, 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 dismember. So the fact that just they removed the motion from you and just gave you like more precision aiming and just made you focus on the dismemberment and the combat and the storytelling and the characters. It was a fun co-op. I played the whole game in co-op, and it was a fun experience. Like I said, the co-op, the story, the variety of the levels, the characters, all better than Dead Space 3.
Yeah,
So.
no, it was worth my time playing it, and if you're a Dead Space fan, I definitely recommend.
I hope
Give it a
more
shot.
people played it when it came to the. But then again, the problem was that you had to have a move, right?
Yeah. this is
So
true.
I still wonder how many people played it, even if they got it for free, or how many people tried it for like 5 minutes with their controller and said this plays like crap with the controller, and then never picked it up again.
That's
So
true. 'Cause it was
it's
designed around the
unfortunate.
motion controls. Yeah.
It's unfortunate that Dead Space Extraction was like this is like deserves. This is another case example. Syndicate and Dead Space Extraction that deserve to be on this list,
Yeah.
both for
Those
very
are solid.
different reasons. And everyone who played it, all the reviews were super positive. It's just no one played it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I have two more, and I'm done. Tenchu, was that a big deal?
I know the name, but
I've
I've never.
heard of it, and I've actually played that game.
Okay, because it has to have been, right? There was Tenchu 2, Tenchu 3, Tenchu Birth of the Assassins, the Tenchu.
It was pretty good. Like the game was like a very competent stealth game.
Yeah, okay, and they did well. Yeah, okay, never mind then. It probably doesn't belong on this list. All right, and the last two are From Mission 3, which I know belongs in this. Well, actually, I'll say that one for last. Star Wars Republic Commando. It came out on the Xbox and the
Speaking of-
PC at the time.
Speaking of our video game club, wasn't that one of our responsibilities?
Isn't that one of the ones you want us to play?
Yeah. So this one was I think this one got missed out because it was like Xbox and PC only, and because it was tied to the Clone Wars, which no one, our generation doesn't really like the prequel movies.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this is like one of the few redeeming things that came out of that is where they actually made battle droids and super battle droids, especially, actually something intimidating and scary to go up against. They gave the clones personalities, and it was like you were this fun squad. It was a tactical. But so I can describe it as like sort of like Brothers in Arms, a tactical squad-based shooter where you can, like, you would tell a guy, snipe from this position, throw a grenade over here, come revive me, revive him, plant the explosives over here, and it was like fun game, like really great attention to detail. It's like kind of crazy attention to detail where if you like go up close and you stab someone with like the wrist blade that you have that comes out of your hand, like blood would splatter on your visor, and then like a little laser would come across the screen and like wipe the blood off the visor. There's like this really great attention to detail, some good weapons. This is a case of Dead Space Extraction again, where they did a better job with the material and telling a story than George Lucas did with Attack of the Clones. So.
Take that.
It makes me sad though. When I think of Republic Commando and the Clone Wars TV show, is that you can see that there's some competent storytellers and some competent like game makers and competent animators and just competent people, actors, all involved in these productions, but they're ham-fisted and hamstrung by the shit foundation that George Lucas laid down. It's like we have to play with the fact that Jedis are these weird celibate monks. We have to play with the fact that they have zero personality and they're no fun. We have to play with the fact that we have all these Django clones and we have to fight dumb robots. They have to do those things because that's the gospel laid forth by George Lucas. But they did the best they could with the rotten material they were given.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, From Mission 3, which is a PlayStation 1 era strategy RPG, which was mostly overlooked in North America. But it was probably one of the better strategy RPGs I played that whole generation. Had a interesting thing where it's sort of like this sort of sliding doors thing. I don't know if you guys remember that movie, but like if one simple decision early on in the game meant that you can either go through this path of the story or go through this path. Like the simple choice: do I go with my friend to make this delivery, or do I stay behind? And it radically changes the course of the story, like to the point where it's pretty much two different games on one CD, because the two campaigns are so different. Like people who are your enemies on this campaign are your friends on this campaign, and they have like different lengths. They have different main characters. They have different missions. It really is like two games in one. And there's this weird fake internet that you can go on. You can surf BBS boards, and you can download wallpapers for your desktop, or even like a secret mission where you can download you could talk to someone on a BBS board and get the specs to like the ultimate mech that you would ride. Oh, if you don't know what this is, it's like you have 4 mechs, and you would run around and sort of like this little grid. It'd be like you and 3 other guys. You'll usually have like a missile guy in the back who would launch missiles, or you'd have like a shotgun guy who would come in and like hit him with a shotgun and a machine gun, and you'd have like a melee guy come in and finish off and take off. It was like a really good, solid strategy RPG, and unlike the other From missions, it was the sort of standalone story that took place in the future of this world, so it was easy for newcomers to come into it. It really is one of my top. Like, I don't have a favorite game, but I have a list of games that I clearly among my favorites, and From Mission 3 is easily at the top of that list. One of the top of that list.
So. Question about that then: does it? Say you said how there's completely 2 branching stories. Are they like so far apart that like have you played both branches?
Several times.
Okay, so do they overlap? Like if you do one, and then you go to the other one, are there any?
No, like, come on, this is PlayStation 1 era. Let's not get crazy here.
Do they? Oh, I'm just saying. Do they? Is there any overlapping story? Or are they just completely different?
Well, like I said, though, it's like the people who are your enemies in one are your friends in the other. So you see a lot of events from different perspectives. So, like for example, there's this one like series of missions where you're fighting this gigantic mobile base called the Tianlai or something, and the Emma story, you're trying to take this down because you're fighting the Chinese military at this point, and you want to destroy it. So there's this big series of missions where you go inside, you invade the thing, and you blow it up. If you're playing on the Elisa stories, you're actually with the Chinese, and you're trying to fight the rebels. So you're trying to defend this gigantic base from the rebels coming to destroy it. So you see a lot of things from the different perspective, and only by going through both sides, it's like Rashomon. Only by going through both sides do you get to see the whole picture of everything that's happening, by playing from very different perspectives and getting different feels.
That's pretty cool.
So it's like someone who you think from this perspective is an irredeemable asshole. You actually get to know him, and you realize, oh, he's a loyal guy, and the reason why he's making these choices because of this, and this. So
that's true.
It's really interesting. I think it's a really well done JRPG. It's a really well done strategy game. It's fun mechs. They really created this fun little world with like the internet. Like they had fleshed out so much backlog in history that you can spend so much time surfing the fake internet in the game and just learning a lot about the world and the previous histories. It was fun. Like at certain points you could get going on there was just for backstories. You would you can actually like download simulator missions, and you go into the simulator to level up your skills and get more money. You could find passwords on secret websites that would be like, oh, so you would like someone would tell you a password, and then you go into the game, you would type in the password, and you feel like, oh, so that's what the Japanese military has been up to. So.
Yeah, no, it sounds really interesting. The fact that you're getting both perspectives by playing through.
It's a really good strategy RPG that not a lot of people played. Sort of like Valkyria Chronicles. But you could totally get this on PSN for like $5 as a PS1 classic, and it plays on your Vita, PSP, PlayStation 3.
I think it'd be a good Vita game.
So yeah, that's like my #1 game that not a lot of people played.
Yeah, you're right. I've heard of it, never played it though, or know anybody.
Yeah, From Mission 4 was junk, and then it was one of these cases where Square Enix thought like, oh, clearly the Americans don't like this franchise. It's like, no, man, From Mission 4 wasn't very good. That's why no one bought it, not because we don't like From Mission. And then so as a result, they canceled the localization plans for From Mission 5, which was like the best game in the franchise. It was like all the lessons Square Enix took. Oh, I forgot to mention, this is like a Square Enix RPG in their heyday. Like, but all the lessons that Square Enix learned making Final Fantasy X and all these things, they brought into From Mission 5. Some people tried to make the excuse that they didn't bring it over because it took place over the course of the entire franchise, but that's okay though, because they tell you all about the different stories across the franchise. So even if you never played it, you learn about the entire history of this franchise in that one game, and It had like great cinematic cutscenes. It had actual voice acting. But because Front Mission 4 didn't sell, Americans don't want this game. Oh, and then they tried again. They released like the NES version on the DS, and that didn't sell very well. Like, Americans don't like Front Mission. Like, no, man, you released like the two shittiest ones. Of course, nobody wants to play these.
You like it? No. Eric,
I actually asked one of the Square Enix executives at E3 once. We were talking about before Front Mission Evolved came. See, that's the thing. They keep on fucking up with Front Mission, and they blame us. Like, do you guys remember Front Mission Evolved? It was like the third-person mech game.
Yeah.
That was made by Double Helix. That was a total piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
No one played it because it was a piece of crap, not because we don't like Front Mission. So it's like. Yeah. And then I was even asking them, and the Japanese executive, he was listening intently, pretending he doesn't speak English, but he heard every word I said. And then he just like started talking in Japanese, and his translator had to like translate like a block of text, and he's like, we understand that there are fans who do like this franchise. We understand that people like this, but we'd have to even consider starting to bring more of these games over. We'd have to see a lot more zeros at the end of the sales numbers. They're like, they wanted like these games to be selling like 1 million units, 2 million, 5 million units each, and that was never going to happen, especially when you're making
not when you're making crappy games, yeah.
And that's the worst part is that like Evolved, like the reason why I liked Front Mission 3 had nothing to do with Front Mission Evolved. It was just like I said, a crappy mech game that wasn't even just a third-person action game.
It's like me sending cookies I made with the same ingredients that Decadent Cookies made to Eric, and then him tasting them and not liking them and be like, oh, he doesn't like Decadence, I'm not going to send him down.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, the problem with Front Mission 4 was it was actually a step back from 3. And it was like their first big PS3 game, and it had like PS2 level graphics. The story was worse. The mechanics were more complicated. They made a lot of questionable choices. It felt so phoned in and rushed, and then they just brought it over, and it was like, oh, why don't people like it? Well, because it was worse than the last one. But anyway.
Yeah. Front Mission. All right, I'm Eric. Is there anything left on yours? Do you want to quick power through, or?
Yeah, and no one here played Front Mission, right?
No.
No.
Yeah. Well, I still say Front Mission 3 still holds up. The graphics are dated, but the story still holds up. If you like betrayal and coups and like traveling from like if you like sort of doing like kind of like country hopping and then espionage and then you fight with this rebel group and then you fight with this military organization and you're on this special forces team and you're fighting this thing, if you like that kind of stuff, that kind of military intrigue and military political drama, that's exactly what that game is.
Cool. I'm gonna finish on my list. So before I do, I'm gonna just point out Jessica just left a comment saying, just wanted to share that I am currently missing the second last episode of Big Brother Canada to watch your podcast.
Okay, Jessica Alexandra, never watch that show again.
Well, what I actually am excited for though tonight is the new series of Catfish is on MTV at 10 p.m. Eastern.
Catfish?
Yeah, you ever watch it before?
What's Catfish?
It's wow. Okay, I'm surprised you don't know this, Manny. It's a show about people that like are in internet relationships with like someone who's not who they say they are.
You mean catfishing somebody, but they turn that into an MTV reality show?
Oh, dude, but no, it's actually really cool. Like the premise of how it happens. Like the guy Neve, the creator of the show, he's like a young, like 22-year-old kid, but he was actually catfished to begin with, and he fell in love with this, girl that he, supposedly had met online. They talked for like over a year, every day. She would send him pictures and stuff like that, and this was kind of before Skype. This was back in like 2005 or 2006, something like that. Mm-hmm. And video cameras there wasn't FaceTime or anything like that, so it was a little bit easier. But people were naive, a lot of times. And
see, I totally get it why it would happen, especially back when you and I were getting on the internet in our teens. Mm-hmm. But like now, the way
now
like
it's possible, yeah.
I don't understand how that can happen in today's world, especially when like every laptop sold has a built-in webcam. Every like cell phones smartphones are becoming ubiquitous, and they all have a front-facing camera built into it. So at this point, don't give me no excuse. Download the Skype app, bitch. I want to know if you're a man or a woman.
Oh my God, Snapchat.
It just really goes to show you how naive and how idiotic like our society really is. Because they'll be like, well, why didn't you ask them to Skype with you or something? And they're like, well, they said their webcam was broken. For a year and
you have Apple Care. Get that fixed. Shut up.
Get that shit to Apple Care.
So
no, you're right, Eric. People are they want to believe, so that they
want it. They're right. They want to believe, just like the people that create the personas that they're some model actress and it's really some 600-pound lesbian in Canada. But what's
hey, leave Canada alone.
No, I shouldn't have said Canada.
All those decadent cookies, man. Of course she's 600 pounds.
Yeah, that's true. But no, you should check it out, because what Neve does is he brings these two people together and he actually does recon work for the people that are supposedly getting catfished. And it's not, set up, it's not fake or anything like any of the reality shows. I mean, he legitimately does the research, tracks them down, shows the other person hey, we found this profile attached to this email, but this email really goes to, a David, Stern, not Claudia Schiffer or whatever. So, and then they'll set up the other person and get them to meet by kind of not really being truthful with them. And then it's just a fucking shitstorm when they meet. Because obviously they're both pissed off. So it's definitely worth.
One of the characters.
Wait, they're doing it to each other?
What? No. The one person's pissed because they got caught,
Oh, okay.
And the other person's obviously pissed because they fell in love with a man when they thought it was some hot college chick. And hilarity ensues.
Hilarity.
Apparently, I'm it's one of the catfish people, someone who was catfished, is now posing in Playboy.
Possibly. Is it a blonde chick?
It's some Rosie Chiazuzzi.
Rose
Chiazuzzi. I gotta find out about this.
We're gonna have to research this later.
Yeah, I'm checking it out right now.
It's weird though. Wait, is he the one catfishing somebody? I don't know.
Hold on a second. Let me search that on my Bing search.
Oh, hold on, guys. He's gonna Bing this. While you wait, I'm gonna get some teriyaki Subway right now. I'll be right back. Did you know that I can lose weight only 5?
What kinds of toppings are you going to put on it? Do you have
I'm gonna get
plenty of
banana
chicken?
peppers. I'm gonna get the teriyaki. I'm gonna get the pepper jack cheese, man.
Oh yeah, this girl's a hoe.
Okay, well, thank you, Jessica, for tuning in and dealing with our shenanigans.
MTV Catfish. All right. Why would you watch Big Brother? You can hear me talk about Front Mission, and then you can go buy Front Mission, then you can go play Front Mission, then you can come back and talk about Front Mission with me.
Yeah, but she can also just torrent it later.
She can't torrent this, man.
No, I mean
I'll sue her. We will sue her for everything she's got.
No, I mean I don't know. Watch it on I don't know if it's on Netflix or something later. It's a Canada thing, right? Just in Canada, she can probably get Canadian TV shows.
Yeah, this girl has awful teeth. You guys gotta look at this chick's grill.
What?
All right.
Well, when you get to check it out.
All right, he's gonna link it to us. I'm gonna throw out the last ones, and then I think we're gonna finish up here. Let me know if you guys think these are truth or not, or if you agree. But one of the ones was Brink.
Yeah, Brink. You can make a good case for Brink.
Yeah, you can definitely make a good case.
And the sad thing, though, is that the reason why you can make a good case for Brink is also the reason why it failed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, that's I think we've beaten this one before too.
Well, short version for everyone, Brink is this hyper stylized people fighting the man, and the game is online only, squad based, multiplayer. Everyone has a role in the team, but because so few people played it, the multiplayer never really worked out. It's sort of the snowball effect into this obscurity.
Yeah. The next one, probably one of the biggest ones because I absolutely love this game, is PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale.
Yeah, Sony did try to make a big deal out of that, and then it just sort of like.
Yeah, and I think it didn't get taken seriously enough by the people they wanted to take seriously, because those people are like, oh, it's a clone, a ripoff, whatever. But it did have its own unique things, and I actually have friends that would come over and I would make them play it with me, and they'd be like, oh, I actually like this better than Smash Brothers. And it's. Hmm?
I was gonna say, but to be fair, Brody, what have you been spending like the last week doing? Making a Smash Brothers tournament, not a PlayStation All Stars tournament.
I would love.
Yeah, you need to go petition MLG.
The issue is those people are the exact people that Sony wanted to target, but those people aren't going to take this game seriously, and that's.
Wait, are you saying that people love Mario and Luigi and Princess Peach more than they love Cole from Infamous?
No.
Or Japanese cat
What I'm
white
saying
and
is
Japanese cat black?
what I'm saying is they're so in love with their other game, the game itself and the mechanics that they don't want.
For a lot of people, it was the characters that brought them in, and the mechanics kept them there, right?
Yeah, it's true. But if you can get past the characters, the mechanics in this game were phenomenal, and it dealt with the brawl style game differently than Smash Brothers did, and I enjoyed it. They're both great games in their own way, but that's the thing is.
No, there's like I said, there's no wrong answers. There's no wrong answers.
Yeah.
But I do understand why people are less excited to play as Colonel Raddick from Killzone 2. You know.
Yeah.
Beloved Colonel Raddick from Killzone 2.
Yeah. Beloved. I mean,
why don't they have Crash Bandicoot? That would be a better character.
Mm-hmm. That's a fair enough. So, well,
You could have so many better characters to fucking Smash.
The thing is,
Bros.
a lot of those characters are now owned by other people.
Yeah, that was always the Sony problem, though, is that the characters that were always associated with that company were never actually theirs. Like a true PlayStation All Stars would have had Cloud. It would have had Crash Bandicoot.
Yep.
Probably Gex. Remember Gex?
No, Rock.
But the issue, yeah, you're right, is that those are their property, and if it gets end up moving or sold to someone else, then yeah.
It would have had PlayStation 1 era Solid Snake. Is that who it would have had?
Mm-hmm. But regardless, I like the game and I still play it with my friend. And
no wrong answers here.
Yeah, and actually, it's fun. That's one game my girlfriend can actually beat me at a lot of times. Is PlayStation All Stars. That's why I think it's fun. It's accessible to a lot of people too. And I have to say this one, you guys are going to yell at me because it's an extremely popular game. But on the flip side is that it's an extremely ridiculed game. But I think the same people that ridicule it also play it. Call of Duty.
No, you can't do that, man. Sorry.
That is the wrong answer.
That is 1,000% a wrong answer.
All right.
That is the first wrong answer of the show.
We said there were no wrong answers, and Brody made us hate his list more. I think he wins.
This was rigged the entire time.
The best, like the consistently best-selling game of all time, or whatever, cannot be on the list of most underrated games.
Can we have a unanimous vote to vote that was a wrong answer?
I don't know. I think the reason I tried to put that in there is because it is so universally hated as well.
Nah, but that's any game. There's always the backlash force who people who are trying to be cool because they don't like the popular thing. That's different. I think that would belong in the list.
Fair enough.
We have another topic for this one. It's like the game that everyone loves, but you think they're crazy, and you could totally say like, I hate BioShock. People are like, what? Like, yeah, man, I know. I hate BioShock. Let me tell you why. That's a different topic for a different time.
We'll have to do that for another one. Then.
Let me put it this way. You're not in a minority. You're never gonna have to like have a march or write articles or start a campaign for people. Respect me and my rights to play Call of Duty.
Although that's the thing is I almost feel that way sometimes because when I say it's when I play
crazy, dude. At any time you can go online and you can find a like if you pick your Call of Duty, you will find a full match.
I could probably say the same thing about EVE Online because I mean I don't want to play a game that's actually a second job. Like, like you can find negative things to say about relatively popular games. Just because, I mean, Call of Duty, they just release a new map pack every couple of months and title it as a full game. Like, that's the argument that literally everyone who disliked Call of Duty is. They release the same game every year with just a different map pack.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm okay with it not being allowed on the list. I was just saying I think because I receive a lot of flack for it a lot consistently and more than any other game.
I think you gotta listen to who the flack's coming from. As someone who works on an RPG site, there's often people who come in and be like, they'll be like, oh, you're gonna play the next Call of Duty? Pfft, I'm gonna play Japanese RPG 2014. Akakuhikamakaputupu. You know, like I get that a lot. Like because you're gonna play that bro game.
Like, why do they care? Like, who gives a shit?
Exactly.
True.
Oh, he's gonna go play that bro game. We're such better gamers than him. Because
Like, I like how like even like it used to be like the kind of music that you would listen to, you get stereotyped. Now it's like you get stereotyped for like fucking a video game. Like
you play Gears of War. You're such a bro gamer. Ugh.
Bro gamer.
Yeah, see, that's why I don't take that criticism seriously.
And then you get the people who play like Counter-Strike Global Offensive.
You know, just like the people who are hating on Halo. Like, oh, you play Halo? I play real PC shooters.
Mm-hmm.
It's like F those guys.
My mouse has 32,000 DPI. It's so accurate.
Well, guess what? I'm sitting on my couch having fun with my friends drinking a beer. F you.
Yeah, true. No, I thought I'd maybe sneak.
No. I hear what you're saying, but you have to that's.
It's true. No, you make a good valid point.
I think that's more vitriol than it is.
Bless you.
Zoom tight.
Thank you.
Gesundheit.
Yeah, that's more vitriol though, right? You can find vitriol for anything on the internet nowadays.
True. Cool. Well, that's the end of mine. And there, I think we had a lot of discussion on those ones. Made it go long. So I think we're gonna figure out our club, our game club for the next week after this, and then figure out what we're doing, and then we'll also figure out our next topic, and we'll let you guys know then. But I guess we'll sign off, say goodbye to everybody, and just everybody listening. Thanks for listening again, and giving up your Big Brother time to listen to us and whatever shows you may be watching.
Hurry up, man! We all gotta go watch Catfish.
every week at 7 p.m. EDT, and you can join in and ask questions and talk with us, and I'll get to Randy in a second. And make sure you subscribe to Gamer Roundtable show on YouTube, and +1 us on Google Plus as well. And Manny,
I have a question for you. What if people just want to listen to the audio? Are we on iTunes?
You're not. I have to set that up.
Okay.
I tried to do that with SoundCloud, but they have limits, and I was looking for another outlet.
I think you need like something like Lisbon.
Cool. I guess let's sort something like that. 'Cause that'd be nice because we do have an RSS feed.
Because we're not. I feel like we're not officially a podcast until we actually have like a podcast.
Podcast station.
We'll get that other. We have an RSS feed for the video, but let's get one going for just the audio because that makes sense.
But I will say one last thing though. BlizzCon tickets are going on sale in 30 minutes.
And they will be going off sale in 31 minutes.
Pretty much. They will be sold out in 31 minutes. So hopefully if you're listening to this and you forgot that you want BlizzCon tickets, get ready. Get ready right now.
Load up the page, get your details in it, and just be ready to click the buttons.
Click furiously. That was a good reminder. Okay, well let's let these people click and not use up their bandwidth so they can get them. And say goodbye to everybody. Charles down at the end. Thanks for coming out, Charles.
No problem. Actually, Brody, where did you get Leafx from? Where did you come up with the name?
Leafx, I actually got it. You have something to say about it. Leafx, I got it from a book I used to read called Del Toro Quest. The main character's name was Leaf. And when I went online, I tried to use that as my name for forums, but the issue was that is an actual name. It is a Dutch name meaning sweet, and people already took that. So I had to figure out how to make it unique, and I hated the idea of using underscores and numbers in my name, and I didn't want to put a random letter on the end. So I'm like, what's a cool letter? X was the coolest letter in the alphabet, I think.
The coolest of letters.
And it was symmetrical in every way, no matter which way you put it. It is the unknown variable, and I think that's why I put it at the end, Leaf X. And nobody ever has it.
I'm grateful because I always thought your name was like The Life, but you were spelling it wrong on purpose because of the internet.
No.
I thought you were lame.
No, I'm cooler than that. I use an X in my name. I'm obviously.
All right,
cool.
I always thought it was like, people misspelled the, and you're like,
Yeah.
I'm living the life, the leaf.
Yeah. Somebody just asked me, hey, did Brody get his name from Del Toro Quest?
I did indeed get it from Del Toro.
All right, there you go. Brody, not so lame.
You know what? I think, yes. I made a name for myself. But I'm glad someone's gotten that because that is almost one of. I think that's the first person that's actually gotten the reference.
I thought it was Lee Erickson.
That's also a guy. I really like that guy as well too.
Man, it works on multiple levels.
Discovering America and stuff before Columbus.
Multiple levels. That's amazing.
Yeah, a lot of thought. Or it just worked out. But anyways, back to Charles. You can follow him on Twitter as TStovetop.
I promise to tweet more, etc., etc. The hand wavy thing that I do every week.
We need to listen.
Same thing every week.
And follow him on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/cstove. You can watch him game around and stuff. Next to him, we got Manny. Manny. So thanks for coming out. And
yeah, you disturbed my nap, man.
Yeah, sorry about that, man. Get your tickets to go back to sleep. And you can make sure you follow Manny on Twitter @MarinoEM, and so you can listen to him say things as well too.
Yes, I mentioned internet things.
For this year's NFL draft, Bud.
Wow.
And there's Eric.
There's Eric.
There's Eric. Thanks for coming out, Eric.
Yeah, always a pleasure. I don't know what the fuck that was. So
making sure he makes some noise on his way out. You can follow Eric at EricMiller3 on Twitter. He's got funny things to say, so make sure you follow him there as well too. And I myself, I got to mention myself at least once more time. I'm LeafX, the guy that got his name from the Del Toro Quest books. Not a lame internet spelling mishap. And you can follow me on Twitter at LeafX and anywhere else because I'm the only LeafX on the internet. A total of 5.
And before somebody else registers on everything else as LeafX.
Yeah. I'm going to have some identity crisis coming up. But yeah, so thanks for watching. Make sure you join us next week. And as always, keep gaming hard.